they're ready.
You don't think they're ready? I think they're ready, you know?
Nobody's ready for this jelly. Nobody's body is that bootylicious.
Oof. We'll see. You know, we'll see. It looks like we're live now. It looks like we're also starting on the YouTubes. Okay, I see that going. Cool, that's good. I'm watching it there.
I see it there. Cool.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. Where's the... Oh, there's the chat.
I'm curious, like, where the... Oh, okay, there actually is analytics if you scroll down on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, if you guys weren't already aware, we're cross-streaming. We're streaming on Twitch as we normally do, but we also start streaming on YouTube simultaneously. So that way, let's say you just happen to hate Twitch with a passion or like some kind of weird religious belief, and you're like, I can only use YouTube. Well, guess what? Now we have you covered. So now you should be able to watch on either platform of your choice, and things will be good.
Unless we become a Twitch partner, and then we can't do this.
Yeah.
We might even be in a gray area doing this as an affiliate, TBH, but...
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Maybe they'll just, like, stop giving us money. That, like, from subs and stuff. I don't know.
Well, no, who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it's a learning process.
We're
now,
trying
if
to...
you want to watch on YouTube, they, in theory, can do that. So,
yes.
Bam, there you go.
Options are cool. Hopefully everyone's doing absolutely wonderful today. It's Thursday. You know what Thursday is? What's Thursday, Brian?
It's a day where we normally do a Top Clack live stream that usually starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Oh shit, that was 2 minutes ago.
Oof.
We're good.
We're good.
We're on time. Remember when we used to be late, like every single episode?
Oof, I think like
single episode.
We had like a literal three month streak. I remember, like when it was really early though, like when we were like between 3 and 6 months old, like where we were just like consistently 15 minutes late with or without a guest.
Something went wrong every single episode. Like something went like
audio
or
video. Someone had to do a Twitch update, and then a Skype update that messed things up. Crazy world. Oh yeah, Thursday, aka the day after Wednesday, which is a day I really like apparently.
Tokyo Coffee Nerd Show for the chat. Respect, buddy. All the way over in Japan.
Yeah.
It is Friday morning out there. That's true. You are like 9 or 11 or like 16 hours ahead or whatever.
We got Zeal and Christopher in a YouTube chat. Hello as well. Sorry, you guys aren't going to be just under me on the stream, but
it's going to be kind of a learning curve to stream to both platforms. We're probably going to miss chat here and there, more so on the YouTube side, just because we're not accustomed to swapping back and forth. But we'll try to work it out. We're in this together.
We're professionals.
Yep. Tokyo Coffee Nerd, thank you so much for the bits. Appreciate that.
So, is everyone ready? I'm ready to hit this intro. Intro button. Yeah, so here we are. It is the 16th of August, where we have a wonderful episode of Top Clack for everyone today. Thank you, by the way, Throwaway771_7 for that 5 months in a row of Twitch Prime. Thank you, Ryan Norbauer, as well for the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you. Lunar Sama is actually a button. In my head it is. No, I just moved my hand down, and then I didn't even touch anything, and I just clicked it with my mouse because I gotta change things up.
Kind of stuff works.
Gotta change things up. But we have, like I said, we have an exciting show. There's a lot of news. We have a guest this week, which is pretty good. I know you guys like it when we do have guests, because you guys sometimes will like to hear interesting things from interesting individuals, especially the awesome and talented and creative members of our community who are doing things to help push our community forward, like decide to use Corian for keyboards. So we'll be meeting up with Tesletron on the show a little bit later. But first, we got to do the mail call.
And this week, it's interesting because I got several interesting things. I don't know about you, Huey.
I got like at least one interesting thing. At least one, possibly more.
I'm gonna slowly kind of just show some of the things that I got.
Yeah, you know, just tease it. You know, like the right above the Mason-Dixie line.
Oh, yes. Nah, I don't know. Anyways, if any of you caught the stream last night, I did a little bit of a dual build stream with Nathan Kim. It was a really good time. We built some keyboards. I built up the Lumina prototype, which is originally from Tesletron. It went fairly well. This is a prototype, and thus there were quite a few issues that are going to be fixed in the actual main production run. But this was kind of just like a first look and first impressions to be able to check it out. So if anybody was curious to watch that and see me struggle to build this prototype, then make sure you check out that VOD. It is on YouTube and Twitch. But that is one thing that I got, and another thing that I got. So these switches, you probably don't sound that unique to you at the moment because I haven't done a proper test. But these are actually Novelkeys cream switches. My samples got in last night. I got like 70 of them or so. I had enough to build this board, and so far they've been pretty nice. So Novelkeys cream switches, which are I think coming out within the next couple months. I don't know if he has a hard date on that yet.
I think he said November is when the production ones will come out, but the next round of samples should be next month.
Okay. So, yeah, hopefully we can get some more of those out to the community soon. But, you know, I got mine in. I built with them. They look great. They feel great. I'm really excited for them to actually launch. I'll have, like, a little bit of review going on sometime soon, as well as typing vid and some pics as well. So look forward to that if that's something you're interested in. I also have a salamander keyboard.
Oof.
So this is pretty cool, aluminum keyboard. It's got the brass salamander weight there that I'm trying not to get all the glare from.
It's a nice purple.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool. And the thing that's really interesting about this is actually the plate materials. So Nathan Kim was so kind as to let me borrow this so I could build it up, check it out. Use it for a bit before I send it back to him. This plate is a PBT plate. Yes, PBT, like PBT keycaps kind of plate. So pretty interesting stuff. This is going to be my first time trying out PBT as a plate material, and I'm greatly looking forward to that. He also sent me a PVC plate, which I also thought was pretty interesting. So I got one of those. This is like super flexible. This is like polycarbonate on steroids. So I'll probably be building with that as well, just to see what it's like. So shout out to Nathan Kim for letting me borrow all this awesome stuff. Can't wait to check it out and maybe do some videos on them or something.
That's gonna be so awesome. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm having trouble not always going, because every time I hear PVC plate, I just want to call it the plumbing plate because PVC. Yeah, I don't know. This is all I think of when I hear PVC is plumbing.
Did you ever LARP? Did you ever LARP, Huey?
I did LARP in my youth.
Did you ever use PVC to make weapons?
I used
like PVC pipe.
I use beer cans taped together.
Oh. Right. I haven't LARPed very much, but the people that I know that did LARP, they use PVC pipes to make like a lot of weapons, and you just coat it in foam or something.
I actually used PVC growing up to build air cannons. I just built a PVC chamber, put a vacuum a ball knob, then a barrel. And hook up a bike pump to the chamber, and then I'd pump it full of air. I just have a PSI gauge. I'm like, okay, this PVC is rated for 45 PSI. Not gonna pass it. I don't want shards of plastic everywhere. I put something in the barrel, turn the knob, I'd shoot stuff places. So
nice.
That was a good time.
Tardor's arm is saying that my mic is a little quiet.
I raised yours a little bit. Is it still quiet, everyone? I can definitely
let us know how the audio is.
Give him a little more more oomph.
More junk in the trunk, as they say.
Yes. But if it is a little quiet, I can definitely. Oh, he's good now. Okay, just a smidge quieter. Pretty quiet. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bit of a boosterino. Booster.
All right, it's like I just did the Kaioken times 2.
83282. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub. So I have mail too. I have a mail call thing to do. I know I teased earlier in the week. something cool I got. I have to stand up to show you guys what this is because like it won't really fit on my lap and show you guys on camera. So I got this goodie box right here from Z Frontier for 2-year raffle giveaway stuff. It's sizable. It has some weight to it.
Big box.
Yeah, I don't want to show you that side, but yeah, it's sizable. It has some weight to it. I'm gonna be doing an unboxing. I don't know if I want to do a live stream unboxing or just like a recorded video unboxing of this, and at least tease some of it. I don't know if I want to tease all of it or some of it. But this is a thing. We'll talk more about the Top Clack T-shirt anniversary raffle and competitions very soon. So got stuff here. You know what the funniest thing is? They put 0.5 kilograms for the weight of this box.
Oh man, that's the next level shipping practice.
I appreciate the hustle.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. You gotta get value where you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, great. So confirmed, Huey now has pants on. If you didn't see that, so unfortunately the mystery is over.
Maybe I'm wearing like green tights and I just green screened pants on.
I'm curious why that box is so large because I know what Z Frontier said they were sending us.
Trays, that's why.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Trays, and they probably pack things between to make sure, like, yeah, life is good. Okay. Not the only thing received today. I actually got some new switches today. I got the exclusive Gadron switches, which come in this absolutely beautiful sunset orange stem color. Yeah. These feel pretty nice. I mean, they're Gatorons, rebranded Gatorons, but I got them for 20 cents each, which is, even for normal Gatorons, you know, the price you should be paying or want to be paying for normal Gatorons, 20 cents each. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy about this because if you wanted something like this, you'd have to get, you know, a Gatoron black or yellow and then spring swap, and that alone is more than 20 cents. Great deal. We got 100 of these. I'll be building with these probably tomorrow. Probably not tonight. Tonight, I'll do some work on a review tonight. I'll probably build these up tomorrow or Saturday for sure. For sure.
What spring do those use?
Some number between 62 and 68.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I know. And the other thing I got this week, you guys might have seen me build up. I'm really happy I did. Is this TGR Atlas? Let me just move this cable out of the way and just put it right here for y'all. Yeah, I have the RGs and Bs LEDs on always on mode, and they're absolutely beautiful like that. They're supposed to be for indicators, but I'm like, hey, always on, small, really subtle RGB in the side. I absolutely love it. This weight, by the way, is like absolutely beautiful. Like you can barely see like how, it's inscribed so shallow, so it looks really nice. My mic is clipping. I'll fix that.
That is nice though.
Because my mic should not be clipping anymore. Yeah, I've been enjoying this quite a bit. Doing everything, doing typing, doing gaming, which works completely fine. I absolutely love it. One thing I will say for gaming, okay? One thing I will say for gaming, real quick, because I do play a good amount of the video game. So you got your other side, WASD cluster, right? Your hand's kind of tilted, but it's really comfortable. But if you notice, when I type normally for words and typing stuff, I use this as spacebar. But when I game, I have to use this one as spacebar, because of the position and how my hand goes, because I move it more to the left for WASD. So, interesting. Interesting indeed. These are not the Tangerine switches. These are the exclusive switches. Tangerine is a different color stem as well. And those are...
Is there a name for those?
Exclusive switches. By exclusive, I don't know.
Yeah, they're they were commissioned by Exclusive, the designer of the E6, V2, and E7, that kind of stuff. So it's not a Tangerine switch, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, it functionally is. Just looks a little different,
but much cheaper.
But much cheaper, yeah, which is cool.
Blue
Note, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub.
Thank you so much, Blue Note or Blue Knot 3.
I'm gonna say Note. That's gotta be Note.
I like reading people's names relatively literally.
All right.
So let's are we gonna get to it?
Yeah, let's get to the news section because we do have a pretty full news doc today, a lot of cool things, and then we do have a guest after that. So if we don't want to draw everyone away from the rest of their night, we need to get going on some stuff here. So let's take it away on the news, Huey.
Oops. There's the right screen to go to. My bad, everyone. Yeah, so let's get to it. We got some awesome, exciting news. Pretty full. And let's start off with the Keycap news, as we always do. So this is a topic that Brian, maybe me, I forgot who picked it out.
I did.
You did. You picked this out. I'm not sure why you did now that I'm looking at it, but let's talk about it. It's
oh, you want to know why?
Yeah,
I freaking like the colorway. That's why.
Okay, this is the Intercheck for SPSA Night. Why do you like this colorway, Brian?
Because it's so different from everything else that's on the market. And I think different is good. I would love to see some actual renders because this one obviously pretty meh. But it's to me this is like really cool. I really like this colorway. And I'm also just a big fan of the theme in general. He claims his medieval high fantasy knights, that sort of thing.
I like how he chose like, the worst inspiration picture though. Like, okay, those are the colors he has in the sets, and then he has this like inspiration picture, and it's like no purple, no orange. It's just a lot of brown.
I didn't even look at the inspiration picture.
Like, what is?
I don't really care like what the colors like how colors match themes. But that never is something that crosses my mind when I look at a key set. Either I like the colors or I don't like the colors. I don't really care like what it's inspired to say.
I'm not feeling the white alphas on Gray Legends for the mods.
See, that's one of the reasons I like it. Because like no other set does that kind of shit. Oblivion? Every set always has like mods that are like way darker than the alphas. And it's just like I don't know, I'm just kind of over it. To me this is a fun contrast. But regardless, it shouldn't be about what we like anyways. It's an interest check, so people should show interest if they do like it, and you know, if you don't like it, then maybe not show interest. Either way, it's a set.
Polyzu, thank you so much for the Twitch Primerino. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
yeah, see, there's a couple people in chat that are liking this set. I'm not the only one.
I don't mind white gray. I think it should be a darker gray, like Oblivion, because I had white gray if you choose the mono. So
yeah, but Oblivion is way darker.
Yeah, that's very true.
I like really light sets.
Speaking of things people like, I like this next set for the interest check for GMK DMG, a Game Boy inspired set. I feel like this is finally giving us the set we never got with GMK SNES because that never came to fruition, and that's basically vaporware at this point.
Yeah, which is a real bummer.
Which is a bummer.
This looks very promising, though.
But this,
as someone that I remember getting the Game Boy when it came out.
Same.
I was one of those kids that had the Game Boy, and this is very true to my heart because of that. I played so much on that Game Boy. Oh man, like the amount of times I beat Mario.
Pokemon Red.
Yep, I was blue. I had blue. I had blue, then I got yellow. I never owned red.
I've never owned yellow. I owned blue and red, but never yellow. And I was just so I could trade with myself, so I could have all 150, like the truest baller of the neighborhood.
Your tractor says Link's Awakening, classic, good stuff.
Good.
So when I saw this, I was like, this needs to happen because not only is that really cool, the set actually looks really good too.
Yeah. Yeah. So one really cool thing that I think is unique about this is for 65 and 75% layouts, if you go the home, page up, page down end, on the top two, that home and page up are still accented because they the row 2s and 3s page up at that accent color for the alphas, and they have it in the right profiles. So I think that's really cool that they thought that out when they did that, because you know, look at the base set for the nav cluster, you got the insert home page up with that, you know, magenta ear, more magenta color, but that carries over for 65 and 75% for the page up key. I love that. I like that.
Yeah. So a lot of thought being put into this.
I like the render for the battery key. The Y is apparently going to be a side print on the right side of the keycap.
Wait, where's the battery key?
It's a LED indicator and like right below the 6.25 spacebar. This is battery and like it's just like it has a red LED indicator on the render.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's funny. Well, I wonder if that'll actually carry over to the side of the cap, or if that's just
no. If you look at the first render, they actually have it fit on.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was funny that like it's always small details. It's always small details.
That's fun. That's
fun. Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah. I really like this set. I want it to happen. I want it to happen.
Oh, this is okay. Here's another clever thing. Check out the Pocket kit. That has to be an homage to the Game Boy Pocket because these are for smaller form factor boards.
Yes,
that's clever. That's clever. I like this. This set is looking nice to me. This is shaping up to be a must-buy IMO.
Yeah. For sure. So check out this interest check by Future Crime and encourage him. I think this is a good set. I want to make this happen. It just looks like it's going to be run by the Key Company, which by the way we had Jason, Mr. CEO of the Key Company, on our show recently. Very, very nice and wonderful individual. So it'll most likely be running there once you get some more details finalized out. But looks like it is, for the most part, looking forward. And looking good to go, so I'm gonna keep my eye on this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep my eye on this.
Definitely.
Keep my wallet open for this. I don't know if money will leap out of my wallet, but I'm gonna open my wallet and see what happens. We'll see. But I hope. And you know what I have hopes for? Humanity's journey and exploration into space. Which takes us to our next interest check, Brian.
Spoken like a true Star Trek nerd.
Classic Space. Designed by Sea Cucumbers.
Which I love that username, by the way.
Okay, Sea Cucumbers. It's a Lego-inspired keycap set. Oof, these are cool.
So, yeah, I added this because I thought a couple things were interesting. First, it uses reverse die sub PBT keycaps, so that's pretty cool. We're starting to see that a little bit more on the market. With an SA-like profile. So, this is not necessarily SA. What is this? What does this mean? Is this like a new profile? I was really curious to know what SA-like profile was.
Maybe they want to. Maybe they're just trying to say it's not actually from Signature Plastics. It's a clone, even though the clone sets have no qualms about saying SA profile because.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it looks like Uniform Row 3, if you're asking me.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me as well. It uses some pretty different legend fonts, which is kind of cool too. All colors match to those of original Lego bricks, so that's another cool thing if that's your kind of deal. But I think it looks neat. I actually kind of like the legends as well. Kind of fun.
I'm okay about this set.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it, but I thought it was interesting, if nothing else.
Who knows? Yeah. It's a cool idea. I really hope they flesh this out a bit more. Like, what do you mean by SA like you said, like tell us this is SA Row 3 unless it's actually something different. Yeah. If it's actually something different, tell us that as well, because that would make it also even more interesting. But we need to, people need to know. I don't know what else you mean.
Yeah.
Vagueness isn't necessarily great, but I'm happy more people are trying to do stuff like this. It's different, it's unique. Reverse die sub on SABBT. That's a really cool thing, and that's definitely looking forward. And looking forward is something that people should do. If you're heading toward the direction of space or inspired by space. And I hope someday when humanity can traverse the stars, we can truly be reborn as a civilization, and that's going to be our next group buy, which is the Reborn 60% keyboard. Yes, we're moving on to the keyboard news, and this is by Water Lee, who has started the group buy for the Reborn 60%. We talked about this when it was in the interest check. It has that side swoop. I believe people call those arches in architectural terms.
Yeah. I don't know. I do like the design, though. I'm glad that there's a lot more renders here, and it looks like he actually has a physical prototype, which is really cool. It's always fun to see. So the group buy is starting for this. Looks pretty simple. I like how he has, I haven't actually listened to it yet, but he has a little typing video here. Presumably it looks like with MT3 profile on it. So, I don't know. Could be pretty cool. 6-degree angle, 6063 aluminum. Supports wind keyless HHKB or standard top. It is top mount. And comes in a few colors. Silver, Olivia's favorite, rose gold, micro arc oxidation, purple, gray, and light blue. Or no, I'm sorry, light bull. He spelled it wrong.
Oof, bull color. Interesting.
So, no Gary, but you get the light bull. And it looks like, come on, let me get this price. All right, so a base kit is $260. That will come with top, bottom, aluminum plate, brass weight with your choice of sandblasted or raw, QMK PCB, and free box. I don't know exactly what that means. Maybe it just means packaging.
A free box?
I don't know about that. But,
Whoa. Like, I thought they were just going to put it in a grocery bag and give it to a dude to walk across the world for me to get it.
Yeah, but you can upgrade to a brass plate for $20, and you can get extra PCBs and plates, of course, as well. Shipping to the USA, $45. Europe, $50. Asia, $40. So shipping, pretty much what's expected. Base kit's still going to run you a little over $300 after that shipping fee if you live in the US. So, you know, but still a reasonable price. This is something I try to see more of. I'm not saying I'm sick of seeing $400 and $500 60%, but it'd be nice to see boards, you know, in that $250 to $300 price range for 60%. That's why I jumped on the QXP. I thought it looked amazing. The price was great as well. This is another one that seems a little bit similar in that same vein. So hopefully this is kind of a trend that's just kind of moving forward a little bit.
Yeah. I think this is unique. Honestly, like, there's so many different things right now going on that, like, I don't know if I'd want to commit to this. But overall, like, I mean, when you're looking at 260 plus 45 shipping, that's not too bad. For example, you know,
it's really not.
Over at Z Frontier, they're running the Grid 600, which is a tray mount, which people have their different qualms about tray mount versus top mounts. But on general, people are willing to pay more for, significantly more in most cases, for a top mount 60%. And this is, you know, that. Yeah. But and
for that $305 shipped to the US, you get a PCB with it. You get the weight, the plate, and a top mount board. Actually pretty reasonable overall when you think about it.
So, like, price difference between this and the Grid, and I'm talking about, like, the one I would get, which is the powder coat with the fancy lights, which is, you know, the most expensive Grid, which is $256. This is $50 more. So,
And this comes with plate and PCB. I don't think the Grid comes with either of those.
No PCB. It does no plate either. It's just case, daughter board, and that top module. So it's like trade-offs for different things.
Yeah, this is overall. This seems to be a better value depending on what you want in a keyboard, obviously. But you get a little bit more bang for your buck here, in theory. Anyways, back to reality here. The group buy closes the 30th of this month, so you got about 2 weeks left to make up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he has a link for more pictures too. I didn't even look about that. That's pretty cool though. He's got some cute pictures here, some nice camera work.
Check it out, join it if you get a chance. You know, if you wanted the QXP and missed out, or you just want something maybe similar but different, Reborn is kind of, you know, the way to go. And especially with as prices are kind of hopefully moving more and more down range, which is good for everyone. You know, it's very, very awesome and very illuminating, which brings us to our next topic, the Lumina. We're going to have Tesletron on later, but we just want to touch up on his post that he posted earlier today. And the group buy for the Lumina, which is a Corian 60% custom keyboard, the group buy is open. So, Brian, you have one of those. Could you explain to everyone real quick, what is Corian?
So Corian is a very interesting material. It's used a lot in things like countertops. If I'm not mistaken, it's mostly acrylic, surprisingly. I imagine for cost savings, and then some kind of rock, some kind of mineral. I'm not really sure. I didn't do enough research. That was my bad. But the bottom line is it kind of feels like someone said cheap marble, which I totally agree with. Not to say that it feels bad. It's like a very smooth finish, but like you can tell there's a lot of acrylic going on there. The Corian itself is not that heavy because of that. So this keyboard is actually pretty heavy, but that's due to the brass bottom, which is pretty big, as well as the brass plate. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's not like super cool to the touch as like, you know, like a granite would be perhaps, but it's still pretty nice. It's definitely very different, and I appreciate that idea either way. The design is pretty good, all prototype issues aside. But of course, like Huey said, we'll have Tesletron on a little bit after our news section, and he can explain a little bit more about what's going on with the group buy. So we're actually going to just kind of skip over this for now. Just know the group buy is live, and we will talk about it very, very soon today.
But check this page out if you haven't had a chance. Don't worry, you guys will see plenty of chance for Brian to get a close-up, show you guys a close-up. I know you guys don't want to see it now, but he's going to take out his camera later after the stream. He's going to have some nice pictures, typing sounds. Trust me, it'll be even better when he has like the equipment set up and not the small little screen that I'm subjecting him to for the news section. So trust me, it'll
be cool, guys. It'll be cool.
Yeah, so this is really cool. I think it's trendy that, you know, different designers are experimenting with different materials, different thicknesses, and all kinds of different things. And being trendy is really good and really nice. Like I wish I was trendy. Like I would be really cool, and you know, I could wear cool things like Uniqlo. But rhyming with Uniqlo is Unigo 26, the next topic, which is a wireless ergonomic keyboard. I couldn't think of any other segue for that.
That was pretty weak. That was really labored.
I know,
really forced.
All the other ones were like really good, but like there's no way I could really roll into this one on top of my head.
Yeah. Oh well.
It's okay. It's rough because I'm not that trendy. So this is the Unigo 66, a split wireless ergonomic keyboard, which I really like, and I'll tell you why I like it. Okay, I actually liked my Ergodox Easy when I had it, except for the thumb cluster. You know, I don't have the biggest hands, just the biggest self-esteem issues and other things, but this brings the thumb cluster much closer into your palm, making it much more accessible for those who don't want to stretch their thumbs too far out, and I really like that. Plus it's wireless, so you don't have a cable going through the middle of your desk or another cable, you know, going to your computer. I think if you're looking for a good ergo board, this might be a good way to go. Like, it doesn't have that vertical stagger like the Ergodox does. You know, it's basically ortholinear for the alphas, but I'm honestly perfectly okay with that. For me, I think this might have to be a must-buy for me. I'm gonna say,
this actually a winner, to be totally honest. Yeah, I don't really care for this kind of thing normally, but it looks pretty usable. Mm-hmm. And I like the case design too. The problem I have with a lot of like ergonomic or ortholinear boards is that like there's no real design going on in the housing, and like to me that's really important for a keyboard. I really like to look at my boards. I really like to show off my boards, and I want them to be like really aesthetically pleasing. And a lot of times when you have layouts like more niche like this, like ortholinear and ergonomic split stuff, you don't get that cool aesthetic because, you know, for them it's all about the layout. Like they just want that interesting layout.
You know, I don't think it's just that. It's not just about the layout for them. It's about they know that there's not many of them at the times that they were ran. You know, for a lot of them, for a lot of Ergodox and stuff, right? So for them, the tradition is make a cheap layered case because no one thinks that an MOQ to make, you know, an aluminum case be somewhat affordable could happen. That's what I think. You know, I think if there was this option, you know, 2 years ago, when a lot of people were buying Ergodoxes, but it came at a hopefully a reasonable price, like I hope this one will come at a reasonable price, then I think it would have gone really well. And I just don't think that anyone at the time would believe that enough people would be willing to get a super, super fancy and premium. Because like the most premium case you could get for the Ergodox is the full hand Ergodox, which is the Ergodox top plate, and it has like an extended part for your wrist, and it's all made of steel, so you got this heavy steel Ergodox, but it's still like sandwiched of pieces with.
Yeah, like you don't really have any like super nice like CNC kind of work usually for those kind of things, and here you actually get a little bit of that. So it looks like a pretty nice case altogether. Some of these key options are a little strange though. If you take a look at the pictures, like the very first picture has what I think is a 1.75 escape.
Oof.
which I don't know if that actually came with Nautilus, but that's hilarious because he's using Nautilus here.
I've seen a few shops in my day.
Yeah. He's using Nautilus on box switches here. Oh no. But yeah, kind of interesting. Is that a render?
Yeah. Oh, it's a photo. Oh, yeah, it's a render basically. It's a Photoshop of the escape key.
Yeah.
I know. Actually, I don't. There's just some that aren't renders. I think maybe they actually got that made. I don't know. I don't think it is. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that was like somehow in one of the kits. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I'm not my thought. My thought is I really do want this. Like, background. You guys, a lot of you who may have not followed my keyboard journey or have known me as long, actually might not realize I actually like ergonomic boards a lot. I like the idea of them. Most of them are kind of bad. That's my reality. Like if you look at my old channel, you know, I've reviewed the VEA. Liked it for the most part. Had a lot of issues. I reviewed the Kinesis Advantage. I don't know if I did a review on the Ergodox Easy. Maybe I did. I think I did. Ergodox Easy. I have the Taobao VEA clone behind me actually, which is made of all sandwich acrylic. What else have I done? I used to have an IBM Model M15, which is a split buckling spring keyboard, but it was a membrane buckling spring, and membrane buckling springs are the worst kind of buckling springs, and it was only 2 key rollover. So I've had Matthias Ergo Pro, which is also great, but Matthias switches. Spend money and resolder them with brown switches. I don't know. That's expensive. But, you know, all those are, you know, of varying qualities, and I've tried all of those, and I want to try more. This is the next one. I just have to.
Yep.
Have to.
Cool. So this is designed by Sirius. I'm not really sure who that is, but it's manufactured by Alf. So it is compatible with MX switches, hot swappable PCB. It'll use QMK/TMK firmware. Has a Logitech K230 chip for that fancy wireless stuff going on there. So yeah, there's no note of any price, even in the actual Google form. So you know we'll have to wait on that. Hopefully this isn't something that's too terribly expensive.
Hopefully soon.
Yep.
Let's move on to this next topic because it's a thing. It's gonna definitely collide with people's tastes. It's the Clyde 39. I'm just gonna go straight to the album so you can tell us about those deets because the albums is on a separate link, and that link is just text. So what's up with this, Ryan? It's a board.
It's a very interesting. I don't know if I'd call it a 30%.
It's a 39%. Duh.
Oh. Anyways, MSRP looks to be about $60 for a fully onboard soldered keyboard with a PCB case, of course. So you have that PCB material. So relatively inexpensive. You just solder on your own switches. It would use QMK most likely. So this guy doesn't really quite have a full grasp on what he wants to do yet, but this is just kind of some initial stuff going on. There is an interest check form that you can fill out in the Keycap link that I put in the chat. So, yeah, interesting. Looks like the PCB has the controller and all the supporting components like diodes, etc., on board already. So pretty cool. You don't have to solder your own like Pro Micro or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Utilizes a Type C USB. Very nice. Support QMK, like I mentioned already. Very cool. That's about all we know so far.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what we usually say when there's a keyboard like this, which is there's a very select people, a niche kind of people who really love and enjoy this thing, and for the most part, for everyone else, it's like a why kind of thing, and for the other side, you know, it's a why not. It's a why or why not for when you see something like this, right? When you're like, why? And those people are like, why not? It's possible. Let's just cram things in and make it different, and that's their uniqueness that they really much enjoy. From a usability point, obviously Dvorak can't be used by me, but if I had to like look at this in a QWERTY point of view, it's funny because these pictures have like the middle section dividing your left and right hand, so they're 1 U apart, where the 1 U between the G and H, it's like they put an FN between B and N, which is like, I guess that could be either, should be your space bar. But I guess you can like tap for spacebar, hold for FN if it is QMK. You know, little tap dancing action going on. I mean, people have told me they can professionally code with a 40% keyboard. I don't see why I can't do it with this. It's just like a lot of muscle memory and unique thinking.
Yeah, this is the kind of layout that you get when you only plan to use this kind of layout. Or like you learn it, and then this is what you use now. Like you don't switch like other boards because you know, it might get too convoluted there.
That, or you like collecting small form factor keyboards like some people collect artisans. I've seen it.
Yeah, totally, and it's inexpensive, so
yeah.
There you go.
So check that out when you get a chance. Something funny enough, taking something inexpensive to the expensive is our next interest check by Ramiel. This is a custom rubber dome, and what he means is you take the Plum or Niz keyboard, same OEM, what a lot of people in the community call it a no pray or faux pray, because it's, you know, an
I haven't heard that before. That's pretty good.
Electrocapacitive keyboard that is mirrored similar to Topra, except it has their own MX slider. What Ramiel's done, he's created his own aluminum case. His own aluminum case for the Niz TKL, which is normally a plastic case, cheapest kind of quality for that plastic case. But he's made this really nice aluminum case, and he's running the interest check because he's like, hey, I made this as a thing. He's talked to Plum. Plum is willing to sell him like the components of the board, so you don't actually have to like buy a full Plum board, buy this, do the swap and stuff yourself. He's like, hey, you can just buy the parts you need for the keyboard, you know, the PCB, daughter board. Plum will sell him the domes and the housings for the switches and the sliders, and he can sell it as a package with his aluminum board. That's really cool. Topro.
Yeah. So this is actually a really cool idea, similar to how Norbauer kind of pioneered the whole like custom housings on Topra boards. Here, obviously, we're doing the Nopra. A little bit different. These are a little bit less popular, but they're also a lot cheaper than Topra boards, generally speaking. So I think having a custom case for it is very cool, but at the same time, it's like, how much will like a completed one of these cost? Because the reason you usually buy a Niz or a Plum or a Royal Kludge Nopra board is because you can't afford Topra. Generally, you know, some people might prefer it, but I'd be interested to see what kind of pricing we're actually going to find here, because he doesn't really make note of any of that. Although he does have a myriad of pictures, which is pretty cool.
I like the feet mirrored after the MacBook Pros, MacBook style.
Yeah.
Man, it's really cool that he talked to Niz. Niz is like, yeah, we'll show you the components. Like, yeah, dude.
That's really cool then.
Yeah.
This could turn out to be an amazing project.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it's going to have to depend on the price.
And you know what? Depending on like how he ships the product out, like if you could order, be like, hey, can I have everything assembled, except, you know, put the springs in a separate bag. Put the springs in a separate bag, and put the sliders in a separate bag, because I want to lube this when I get it, like, so I don't have to like disassemble it, lube it, and then put it back. Can I have it come semi disassembled so I can do the lube part myself, or like the silencing ring myself just from the start?
Yeah,
that's
cool. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool to like order this as like a kit that you put together.
So I want to talk about like the design of this case, because I really like it. You know, he has that front aluminum accent, which I think looks really cool, because it's like a thumb touch bar that isn't, but it's a thumb accent, because that's where your thumbs will rest on this. Some people I know rub their thumbs there. Actually, Ryan Norbauer told me that someone in Europe wore off the anodization on one of his cases because he'd rub his thumbs like right below the space bar when he wasn't typing.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy. So people are saying, yeah, he probably took the accent away. There's weight or accent on the back, which hopefully will have the potential to be a brass weight as well. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this actually move forward, because I really think the potential is there for this particular product.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really happy. I really hope he thinks of a name other than just custom rubber dome. Custom.
I hope so too. Like, I don't know, like, give me some cheesy name. I don't care. Like, just a name that people will know, like, what it is. Like, it's that.
Yeah. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to this. Hey, Ramiel, if you're watching, if someone put the message out, you know, I have my eye out, and I have best wishes for this kind of project. This is cool. This is Tokyo Coffee
Nerd. That's Faux-Bauer. Or how about No Bauer? Oh man.
Yeah.
I love this show.
I'm happy you guys appreciate the spirit of the show that we work on together. Let's go on to the next topic, which is from a wonderful person who does wonderful things. Rama.
Yes.
Or as some people may know him as, depending on your regional accent, Rama.
Yep, as in Rama Lama Ding Dong. So here we have the M6B, which is the follow-up to his M6A that I happily have here. And this one is a little bit different. It's a little bit cheaper, and what that will mean is that instead of a fancy all-brass housing, you will be looking at an aluminum housing instead. But the PCB gets a little bit of an upgrade in terms of RGB lighting. So you can now have an M6 with RGB. Freaking epic. It still features the hot swappable function for the switches, which is cool. PCB is compatible with QMK. He also has a configurator. I don't know if that's still like a thing.
I hated the configurator for the M6A. Cause is this on QMK now? Because it wasn't when I first checked. I hope it is now.
They are QMK now. I'm
okay.
Sure.
Our old ones, we can just do the QMK firmware. Because like I hated that this is on their site they even said this is a social keyboard programming network. Some just BS. I'm like, what? You make it sound like this is gonna be the Facebook of keyboards. Stop. The only things that are supported was the M6 and the Knobs Mini, which is also a 6 keypad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, but whatever. Such is life. But yeah, this one is coming in the same variety of 6 colors that the M60A launched in. The Kuro, Moon, Mist, Dusk, Sage, and Lake, which I think is like black, gray, silver, like kind of a mauve pink, dark green, and dark blue, respectively. But yeah, looks pretty cool. I think the M6 overall is a pretty epic product. Like, it's actually
it honestly
it's actually really cool.
Mine has a permanent position on my desk.
Yeah, I've been keeping mine on my desk too.
Because I
don't use it as often as I should.
Oh, I use it every day. I use it to change volume, mute, unmute. If I'm using a Win keyless board and I just forgot to program my left alt into Windows, I actually have a Windows key on my M6 as well. I learned that trick from Megaforce. Because I'm like, he's like, I don't have Windows keys in my boards. I'm like, what do you use? He's like, I have a numpad that I use as a macro pad, and I just have a Windows key there, and he just slams it if he needs to access that Windows menu. So,
anyways, this one comes in at a slightly cheaper price point. I believe the M6A was like 150 or 160 for the base one, and this one is 138. So you save a little bit of money by swapping to aluminum, but you know, you also get some fancy RGB lighting, as well as the whole Rama experience. When you open the package, it's like, it's an experience, man.
It comes with a little cute case. You guys might be able to see right here. That's always hanging on the stream. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed. This is actually it's like a it's like a hard case style. It's like, yeah, it's hanging here because it has tactical loops in the back. So I've actually tactically looped it to my keyboard stand.
Yep, and it does come with caps. It comes with switches. The M6s all came with Kailh box whites. This one also listed to come with 6 Kailh box switches. So kind of interesting there. He's opting not to forego box switches on here. He either still feels true to him, or he hasn't heard the latest news with all the Kailh box debacle.
I mean, if it's shipping late 2018, if he hasn't ordered his switches yet, he could wait and
could
order
totally
the new
be
ones.
fine. Yeah, could totally be fine here. Yep, it also comes with a USB-C cable as well. So a lot of stuff packed into that price, thankfully.
Yeah,
not too bad.
So that is awesome, possum. I mean, it's a groovy product, and where there's groove, there is smooth. Which brings us to the next topic, the cream switch by Novelkeys. Mr. Mike Sickler, MG Sickler of Novelkeys, has been working and teasing of a new product, and very recently, of course, Brian talked about it, Nathan Kim has talked about it, a lot of all other prominent people in the community have been talking about it. The new cream switch, which is an all palm housing from DuPont Palm Plastics, support for switch top opening, PCB mount bottom, linear switch, 55 gram actuation, 70 gram bottom mount. He's gonna have a force curve soon. Retail
he has it
price
linked on the Reddit post, but he's copied wrong on this one.
Retail is going to be 65 cents a switch. I think next month I'll be getting my sample. For the first batch of samples, they're all called for. And for Top Clack, he was like, "Hey, which of you guys want it?" And like in literally a minute, Brian was like, "Mine," and just done.
Yeah, normally I don't care who gets stuff, but I've been looking really forward to this for a long time.
I was like, give it to him.
I'm the linear guy. Like, I
give it to him.
So yes, I do have them. I do have them in the Lumina, which I'm going to be programming after stream, so I can actually use these. But yeah, palm switches. There's a lot of potential here. These are definitely a good switch.
We'll definitely want to have Mike on the show in the future to talk about these, I'm sure, because I have some questions about these, and I'm sure he has some great answers.
For sure. He has a nice little fact here for, obviously frequently asked questions. They're coming soon for pre-order, but he doesn't have an ETA yet. He has ballparked, like, November or October on Discord. Nothing's for certain. Could be sooner, could be later. That could be, perfect. And, we don't know. Pre-order price will be discounted. So retail 65 cents a switch. If you pre-order them, maybe you get them for 55 cents or, 50 cents a switch, which I think they are definitely worth it. So pretty cool stuff there. I'll have more thoughts and a typing video and probably a little review out in the very near future.
Yeah. I'm looking forward. I think he said there's going to be a second batch of samples. I'll be in on that second batch of samples, which is going to be really, really exciting. He said to say, so a small note, for the first batch of samples, the normal switch tool opener doesn't work from the top, only works from the bottom. But for the second batch samples, that's fixed, and it should work from the top, if you want to move the top. So.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I think that's the one thing he did mention. So keep that in mind.
Oh, yes. They are PCB mount, too. You have no idea how happy that makes me. So, good stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Look forward to that. Speaking of creaming yourself and Novelkeys cream switches, they aren't the only creamy switches on the market, apparently. We have a very interesting looking product from Geek Maker through PlayKeyboard.store. And these are also known as creamy switches, but to my eyes, they are effectively rebranded. I'm not going to say Gaterons because there's kind of like a little debacle going on here, right? Maybe that
debacle ended. Actually, Barry of Play Keyboards actually fixed. So here is the small little debacle. What happened? A lot of you guys may be in tune with this. So originally on this page, the brand, or under the brand, there was one more thing. Under the brand, it said manufacturer, and then they put Gateron for the manufacturer. And then Zeal in the Reddit comment when someone posted about the switch is like, those are not Gateron switches. I know Gateron switches, and in case you don't know, the reason Zeal knows Gateron switches is because he works very closely with Gateron.
And has for years now.
So he's like, those are not Gaterons. And people are like, well, well, they say it's Scatteron. And, you know, there's speculation on they have their own factor. They're trying to use the Scatteron name to carry the Switch's popularity, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that happened like over the course of a day, and you know, over in China, near China, I was thinking somewhere around China, Barry of Play Keyboards wakes up, and like people in our someone in our chat pinged Barry, because Barry is in the Top Clack Discord, like, hey Barry, and Barry's like, oh, why have I woken up to Taiwan? Thank you, Dewey. Why have I woken up to like all of these PMs? Why did I do it? And everyone's like, hey dude, like, what the heck's happening with this? And he looked at it, he's like, oh crap, that's the issue. So what he did was, when he formatted this page, he did copy and paste the Scatteron product page on his store. So you look at the Scatteron switches at the store, it's formatted the same way, but he just like filled different things in. But he's told us he forgot to remove the manufacturer Scatteron. The manufacturer's not Scatteron, he said. He has their own manufacturer for that. Geekmaker, he's like, I'm so sorry. Fix it. He did fix it like right away as soon as we told him. Like 10 minutes later, I refreshed the page. It was fixed. That's cool. At least he fixed it. Unless that was resolved. But it is a new switch from a new manufacturer. We don't know much about it. We don't know if it's going to be good. If it's going to be bad.
Is Geekmaker the manufacturer?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Or is,
it's the brand. It's the brand. So maybe the manufacturer. I don't know what their actual name is going to be. But at any rate, they branded it Geekmaker. So until we know, they're just Geekmaker. Zeal, even though Zeal, I think Zeal did come around and say, okay, they're fine. They were right by correcting it. Zeal still has his own thoughts about these switches, which aren't the most positive. I don't know if I should talk.
But this is a show about education, and journalism.
So I will say this. So what Zeal said that Play Keyboards or some representative of Geekmaker purchased a bulk amount of switches from him. A bulk amount. Zeal did not specify how much constitutes a bulk amount, but that's what he said. And Zeal is claiming that these switches are directly inspired by his switches.
Okay.
That is what has been stated. What is the reality? I don't know. Although I will say one weird thing they put for the introduction is linear lube stems, smoother than Cherry MX Blacks, which B-dubs, pretty low bar. Pretty low bar.
Yeah.
Pretty low.
A couple things to note here is they are offered in a variety of weights. So you have a 55-gram bottom mount, 62-gram bottom mount, 67-gram bottom mount, and 78-gram bottom mount. So you actually have a pretty nice array of weights here. A lot of people like that super light bottom mount. A lot of people like something a bit heavier. So you have your options there. They do use gold springs, just like a Telio. They are linear, and it says lube stems, which kind of... I'm always confused when I read that, because a lot of switches do come with factory lube. A lot of Scatterons come with a little bit of lube from the factory. Is that what that means? Or is it something that was supposed to be more like a Panda, where it's supposed to be like a fully lubed switch from the factory? Because I'm still waiting to see like a really well-executed, fully lubed switch from the factory.
I think it's just normal factory lube. I don't think they'll
that would be my guess as well.
I don't think it'll ever be anything intense unless they decide to throw every slider they have into a rock tumbler / a tumbler with lube to have an effective bag lube system. That I actually was talking to people in Discord about, like, I can buy a cheap $40 electronic rumbler. It'll just roll slowly and it's coated in rubber. I just throw lube in, throw stems in, and let it roll for like a day. I'm like, that's gonna be the most consistent constantly rolled lube switches in the world. But oof. Yeah, that's like the only way I can think of them doing it, unless they made specific specialized machines that, like, before the stem was inserted, had like a little V and like just dabbed a little bit of like lube on both sides of the slider and put it in. That's the only thing I could think of. I only think it'll ever be what they consider as just what we know as the normal factory lube. Nothing ever more than that. Prove me wrong. You know what? Any manufacturer out there, prove me wrong. Make a awesome pre-lube switch. please.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, that was originally Ziv's idea with the pandas. They were supposed to be an actually lubed switch, like a fully lubed switch from the factory.
And
it didn't turn out very well.
It is not. Yeah,
that was the original idea. Here it looks like no matter which option you go with, you do get a pack of polycarbonate switch films for free with it that share the color of the switches you purchase, which is actually kind of a pretty cool idea, if I'm being totally honest. It looks like as far as price goes, it's about $56 for a pack of 110. You know, you get 65 for 38, so it's, you know, a little north of 50 cents a switch. So I don't know. Well, maybe we should get some of these just to test out and see. Like,
I volunteer as tribute. We can both get some, but
we both have Telios too, so we can actually do a comparison there as well.
Speaking of lube and pre-lube, we need to lube ourselves up to be a little smoother because we are 15 minutes behind and still have 4 topics. So sorry to our guests and to all of you who are waiting for our guests. We're gonna pick up the pace a little bit. We'll still try to be thorough enough, but we don't want to be too late because we want to make sure you all have time for Q&A and for us to talk to the guests. So next,
I already talked to him, and he's okay with the delay. By the way, just
next awesome topic is from a wonderful, wonderful friend. Heinebusch finally has shop.heinebusch.com, which is Heinebusch's awesome store. He's working on a PCB, the H87A PCB, which is a great TKL PCB for a lot of different boards. For example, it will fit my Duck Unicorn. It will fit my Merit TKL. It's one of those boards where you should know or don't know already whether or not it fits your TKL for a lot of the customs. If you use the Liku TKLs, it'll probably fit in those. The only thing you have to worry about is spacebar stab orientation up or down and USB top or bottom. So check it out when you get a chance. If you know what you're looking for, this is awesome. If you don't like when would I use this, why would I use this, it's not for you. You should already know, based on the keyboards you have, if this is good for you.
Yeah, well, he also has a Google spreadsheet with a very intricate
compatibility,
compatibility chart. So there's definitely some info in there, so that can give you at least an idea of whether it can or cannot work for whatever board you think it will.
Yeah, so if you're wondering like why this exists, is because the TX87 PCB, the TX, the Liku PCBs, they use the jig on, which people have hit or miss relationship with, and or bootmapper clients. This is all QMK. People love QMK for a lot of great reasons. This is the QMK. So if you have one of those PCBs and you just like, I love this board, I love everything about it, I just kind of wish I can get a little bit of extra programmability that you can really go for with QMK. Check this out when you get a chance because it's worth it. Speaking of things that I think might be worth it, more programmability. The next topic is an intersect by John Poo, which is an intersect for a programmable real force PCB, which might be a good idea if you're going to be getting one of the Norba Forces, which are currently shipping out or currently undergoing powder coating. Right now, he needs to get up to speed on common sense, but the prototype matrix PCBs have been ordered on the 10th, so he should already have them. So he's going to see what he can do about it all, possibly Bluetooth in the future. We shall see. I think is a great option. One big complaint about a lot of OEM boards is a lack of programmability, lack of what you can really do with them. That's why, for Cooler Masters, they have the Frosty Flake. For the Philcos, they have the Pegasus Hoof. People have always decided to try to be inventive, to take their existing boards that they already love and give a little bit more value and a little bit more usability for it. And if he's able to make it programmable, whether it's like QMK or his own proprietary thing, as long as it's programmable to at least any degree more than none, it already provides value. And if you can get Bluetooth support going, that's going to be really amazing. The only downside I have about Bluetooth is I know that I don't know if the Norba Force case can fit a Bluetooth battery. I'll need to remeasure.
Yeah.
But awesome. He might drop a plate, so you might be able to get like a new plate with it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would look pretty cool. speaking of looks, you need your eyes for optics, and lasers are a version of optics which are involved with Gatoron optical switches, which someone is making a PCB for, because you can get optical switches if you look in the right places. It's just like, where are you going to use them other than existing PCBs that might have had their optical switches die, which doesn't really happen, because all optical switches do is let light through or block light. That's it.
So this is a pretty simple and straightforward project. There are Gatoron app optical switches on the market. You can buy them. Apparently, they're actually kind of good. But where do you put them? There's like 1 or 2 options on the market. Some pre-built stuff. So this guy is looking to do a standard 60% PCB that will support not only the optical switches but also QMK. So in theory, you can you can drop this at any 60% board that is of standard issue dimensions, like tray mount cases, or has that proper left mount USB port and stuff. So there is a link to the IC forum in this post. Make sure to fill it out. This is a cool project. This is something you should definitely be a little hyped for, because optical switches, it's slow, but I think they're going to become more of a thing as well.
Yeah, on our Discord, a user who's pretty active, he's also really active on Keep Talk, posts a lot of stuff, Walker, he's been a big fan of the Gatoron opticals. And like, the bad thing is, like, no one can really say anything like good or bad, because like no one else really has them or is willing to get an OEM board with them. So it's like, he's like, they're great, and we're like, that's cool, Walker. I don't know, can't like verify what you're saying because I don't want to get one yet, but maybe I can after this. Yeah, I have high expectations, because when you think of an optical switch, it just needs a spring to give resistance, and the sliders can be done really minimally with minimal amount of points of friction if it's designed right, which means you can very easily reduce friction, make it smoother. Cool. Less points of friction. That
and I like smooth.
Awesome. Smooth. Speaking of smooth, a lot of people have been having unsmooth paths when they've been talking about the Gatoron box switch debacle. Stephen Colander, Mr. Editor and Chief of Keychatter, also known as Seth Colander, has done a cool little article. Just came out earlier today. His little take on the Kailh box switch debacle. He does actually cite some measurements that we've done on Keep Talk. He's actually quoted me. Quoted me. He used what my information that I gleaned from the Signature Plastics direct email, and he has his own analysis about the situation, about what's good, what might not be good. I'm thinking whether or not I should write my own response, because I have things to say about not only the situation but about the article. I don't know how I should present all that. Right now, I'm still doing more measuring of both switches, box, non-box, old box, new box, as well as measuring keycap cruciforms, because while it's great that we can assume manufacturers will stick to their tolerances, having more verification is always good. This is a good read. This is honestly a good read. It's a
great read.
There aren't many good text-based content in our community, mostly because a lot of people can't write or choose not to. So check it out when you get a chance. I think it's at least a good start on the conversation if you haven't been clued in already, or if you want more about that.
This is actually a fantastic read, whether you like it or not. But he brings up some great points. He's got some great talking points in there. He also has the actual Cherry MX specs for tolerances and stuff, which like no one else seems to have. So he does add that as well. So a lot of things to think about here.
Yeah,
definitely worth the read.
Think about it. Think about it.
Think about it.
Especially things that you need to think of is, where are you going to buy your next switches? Because if you're looking for switches and you're around the neighborhood, you got this cool little Top Clack promo code, and like, where do I use this? You go to a cool place called Novelkeys, where over at Novelkeys, Mike Sickler has a variety of switches, soon to be those creamy switches. But right now, there's that switch, the Alp switch group buy going on. You get some big switch PCBs. You can get some cherry PCB mount silent switches, variety of others. If you don't have any issues with box switches, he does have the old ones for very discounted price. But he has the restock for the Kailh Pro switches. He has mod switches in stock now, as well as a lot of other things. Check out Novelkeys. Use that promo code TOPCLACK, 2 words, and buy a t-shirt.
Heck yeah. Also note that he does have Kailh Pro switches with PCB mount legs now.
Yes.
So if that was something that was maybe stopping you from buying some of the non-box Kailh switches before, now we're starting to see a change. We're starting to get those PCB mount legs on some of the Kailhs. Good stuff. Can't wait for more of that. Also things I cannot wait for. Things on Kono.store. They got some upcoming projects that we can't always talk about, but hey, whatever. Right now they got the X1 on Kickstarter, which is a fancy little kind of super low profile, slim, wireless, well, that's Bluetooth actually, I think, keyboard, which is pretty cool. I got to try one at the Seattle meetup. $100, and it's actually a lot nicer than I was expecting it to be.
Okay, one real quick note about this. I know a lot of people used to always say like, "Oh, we're such Kono/Input Club shills." You know who didn't get an X1 review unit? Top Clack did not get an X1 review unit.
Yeah. I normally this wouldn't even be my kind of thing, but I saw it at the Seattle meetup and I actually sat down and typed on it, and I was like, "This is actually kind of cool."
Real quick story before we go to our last sponsor. Our last two sponsors. So I was talking with Andrew, Mr. CEO, just the other day, and he's like, "How are you liking the X1?" I'm like, "I never got a review sample." He's like, "Oh no." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. Oh man.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Small notes about the X1 on Kickstarter. The whole team over at Hex Gears and Input Club have been working, or Kono, not Input Club actually. They have their people working. He's been talking exclusively a lot with Hex Gears about the issues that the reviewers had about the keyboard, about the spacebar being thin and weird, about some small input lag issues. He's talked a lot with the engineers at Hex Keys. Those should be fixed for the final units shipping out. Should be. No guarantees. Because I don't know either, because I don't have a review in it. Crazy. So those should be fixed. That's what he's told me. Passing on the information to you. Whether or not it will be, can't say. TBD. Speaking of things that are to be decided, is if you're going to get a Zephyr at Zeal PC. He's extending the buy until the purples have sold enough units, because that eggplant purple, he's going to get a sample in soon of the full board in eggplant purple. So a lot of guys have been waiting all about that. That's going to be...
He had a color sample ring, like a metal ring, that he brought to the Seattle meetup, and the purple is awesome. It's really, really deep, really dark. It's quite fetching, if I do say so myself.
I like that. I like that. Whereas that's a good use of fetching. I like that. But Zeal PC, where you can get some amazing stabs and some other amazing switches, whether you want to just buy his switches to use to make MX Islands, or you actually enjoy Telios and lubing Telios and doing what you can with them. Highly recommend checking it out. I'm almost out of stabs, so I'm probably gonna see if I can somehow scurry enough money and discount and favor from Zeal to try to get a bulk shipment of stabilizers. For context, you guys might not know, Brian and I bought over 30 stabilizers, I think. Stabilizer kits.
Way more than that.
Yeah, way more, closer
kits,
to 50. Yeah. Closer to 50, 30 to 50 stabilizer kits from Mike for the GMK screw-ins. And I'm out. I have one more 7U. And maybe 6 or 7 more 2Us. I need more stabilizers for more.
I'm at that point as well. We 8 months ago or whatever, we just we bought a ton of stabs from Novelkeys, and we're both almost completely out.
Yeah,
but
so
that's how it goes. Maybe we can get some of those sweet Zeal stabs, because they are really good. They're just kind of pricey, but that's how it goes. Anyways, speaking of how it goes, if you're the beast in the East, it goes something like this. I run every group buy ever. because they kind of do. And right now, like we mentioned earlier on a comment, they're doing the Grid 600, which is a very unique and interesting tray mount system where you can, you know, kind of have a little bit of modularity on your top module thing going on there. Pretty interesting stuff. I do like that a lot. They got all sorts of key sets in stock that you can pick up, GMK and otherwise, so that's pretty cool. And yeah.
They're also running the Leaf. They're running the Leaf, guys. Yeah, that's also a thing.
That's great. I was trying to remember what board it was. I was like, I know they're running something else.
I was waiting for that. The Leaf is an awesome Kailh that they are running. It's by Fox Lab. It has a really cool gradient color scheme as well that I would get if the gradient was more gradual, like goes through, not just like here's a change and the change is probably 1 inch to 2 inches, which is, you know, a very familiar length for a lot of people. But yeah, the Leaf with the electrophoresis white, or you go to the Grid 600 if you want, you know, a great 60% tray mount with a USB-C daughter board. That can have glowy RGs and Bs or other awesome top modules that are swappable and swippable. So check those out when you get a chance. But
heck yes.
Finally, as our last sponsor, all of you. Thanks all of you for supporting the show.
You might not think you're a sponsor, but you are.
Every subscription, whether it's Twitch Prime, Tier 1, 2, or 3, every bit that comes in, every view, every thumbs up, every like, every follow. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you guys are ready because we have something amazing to check out. The Lumina with Tesletron himself. So I'm going to go to literally just a black screen or just a insert transition screen. Bam, right there, while we call him in. Brian, if you can do the honors.
Oh, yes. Here we go. Dialed. Calling.
Ring, ring, ring. Banana phone. Thank you, PM Sing Chicken, for 100 bits.
Heck yeah. Alright, we're getting there.
We got some audio. We got a hello. We're waiting for the video to pop up before I switch over. We got some heavy breathing.
Oh, was that me?
No worries.
We like the heavy breathing.
Let me pull my mic away.
Well, you got to mute yourself on Skype-erino.
Right.
Okay. Why is your video not popping up? I got that loading wheel.
It's on for me.
Try to.
It was working earlier, folks. We promise.
Maybe do that on off that signature on. Oh, there we go. And I'm gonna switch this over.
Hey, there we go.
We're all live. Welcome to the show, Tesletron. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for joining us this evening. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be on the show. Pretty excited about this. So.
Heck yeah, cool. So, for those of you that might not be aware of exactly who you are, can you give us just a little bit of backstory on who you are and what you're doing right now in the community?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Tesletron, and I'm running a group buy for a Corian 60% keyboard. I think I got into this hobby, I really got into this hobby last summer. Before then, I was just into, the gamer stuff, like a Logitech. Actually, my first mechanical keyboard was a Logitech G710 with MX Blues, and then I went to a Master Keys, and then I went to a Poker, and then I actually met this guy who lives near me, and he showed me his custom JD45, and I think after that, I kind of just I don't know, it just kind of exploded. So then I kind of went on this rampage of trying out so many different things. I think I've been through maybe 25, 26 different boards. I think my friends probably call me just a flipper. Not a flipper, but I just cycle through stuff just because I like to try it all. But yeah, so I'm running the group buy for the Lumina. It's been in development for some time just because I wanted to make sure that everything was as good as I could get it before I launched it. But yeah, so I mean, that's where I am now.
Right on. So we actually kind of skipped over the Lumina earlier today just so we could talk a little bit more about it when you were on here. So you actually launched the group buy, and I'm actually going to post that in the chat because I totally forgot to do that. So why don't you take us through the group buy? Like what's going on with it now? Because I know you have some updates as well, and people might not have seen the most recent kind of info that you've been putting out about it.
So I launched it on Monday. I put up the website. Like I spent about like 40 hours the weekend before just making sure that everything was right, and then launched it and there was issues, so I fixed that. But yeah, so I launched it on Monday, and I mean, so far so good. I've been getting a lot of messages from people that I haven't heard in a long time, showing that they're excited. And then today I actually put out a post with a new base. So it's just an acrylic base that is less expensive than the brass or the aluminum offering, just because I recognized that the current pricings were pretty high for the target market that I was going for originally. And seeing as it's a new material, I'd rather have more people be able to afford it if I can offer, like, you know, a substitute for the material that's not the Corian. So yeah, I put an update out for the acrylic base, and I put it up on the website, and it basically brings the price of a kit under 300 or so. And if you really like go all acrylic, then it's like 230 or so. So that's the update today. I've been getting some renders from Plex on the Top Clack Discord. He's doing a really good job with the key set renders. And yeah, so I've just been, I guess, answering people's questions about it, helping people out with their orders. Oh, one more thing. There's a colorway that one person put out. He goes by Zero on Top Clack, and he really liked Cosmos Prima, which was from the original interest check. And I told him if he can hit 25 orders, then that would be the MOQ for the Cosmos Prima. So that's also going on. If you're interested in that colorway, there are pictures on the post, and there's a Google form that you can fill out. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what's going on with the Lumina right now.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the prototypes that I have, because I have made some comments on it, and you have been telling me that most of them or all of them are going to get fixed. So let's just run through just to kind of ease everyone's mind.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed initially is that most of the screws don't actually stay in on this particular prototype.
Yeah. So about that, I had asked for threaded inserts, and I think there was a misunderstanding there. So they actually threaded the Corian, which I do not advise, because the material is pretty strong, but when you get too thin, it will actually, you know, it'll crumble, because like you get like really, really small, and it's brittle. But the thicker you have it, like, I guess, exponentially gains strength. So like when I was so actually the inspiration for this board came when I was in a bladesmithing class, and we were using Corian for the scales. And I remember I was trying to snap a piece, and it was like maybe 1/4 of an inch thick, and I could not snap it. So I think that from there, and then just the knife that I ended up making, I decided like maybe this would be a good material to do a keyboard out of. But when I was designing it, I had to learn a little bit more about the material to make sure that the the tolerances and the thicknesses of the material in certain places wouldn't be too thin. And I think actually I found out a little bit later, after I had started working on the prototypes, that Ryan Norbauer was working on a Corian version of his Norbaforce, I believe. And I remember reading in the comments, it actually gave me some really good information. It was talking about how the case was too thin in certain places. That's why they didn't end up running it. So I think I took some of that information after. I took that information, and I basically just modified the design. And I can say that the original design I had for the Lumina is completely different than what it is now. But yeah, so basically the holes were supposed to be brass insert threaded rather than just threaded by themselves. So that's why the screws fall out. The aluminum prototype that I actually have, they did a better job with the threading. I'm guessing that they did the machining and the tapping of those parts after they did the one that you have. So they do actually hold. There's only one on it that's loose, but obviously with the production run, it's going to have brass threaded inserts, and they're not going to be force fit. They're going to be CNC'd holes, and the inserts will be epoxied in. So there won't be any strain on the holes, and there won't be any chance of it, any chance of the thread ripping at all, unless you really like force it. But
Perfect. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Another thing I have noticed pretty much right away is just how truly high profile this is. You know, I try to show it off on the camera, but like people can't grasp how like high profile this really is. It comes up like a lot through the caps, as you can kind of see on the camera here. So like this is much higher than your normal traditional high profile board. And one thing I noticed is because of the typing angle and because of how deep in recessed the bottom row is, I wind up hitting the case a lot when I go to hit like the spacebar, for instance.
Right.
And I was wondering, like, exactly how you were planning on doing that, if that was something that was going to carry over to the final production, or if that was something that was going to change at all. Right.
So the solution to that, and that was actually one of the first things I noticed when I got the prototypes with the angled base, was that the angle wasn't high enough. So actually, I think if I remember, I aimed for 5, but I made a mistake with that, and it ended up being like 3. With the production model, I checked the degrees. I've updated the base angle, and it's 7 degrees exact. So increasing the angle actually makes it so that the base, or the that face piece of the corian that your thumb hits, it gets pushed down out of the way. So there's not as much chance of you hitting your thumb on it anymore. So
perfect. Yeah, because I like how recessed it is, but the angle is just definitely too shallow to be able to come
yeah. I actually ended up putting some really thick rubber feet on my prototype just to see how that affected it. And yeah, it definitely does help a lot. But the reason that I decided to stay with the thick corian pieces is because the most cost-effective way to do the corian CNC is to do a 2D cut and then go back and do the chamfers on the edge. But if you're doing a lot of passes to like CNC down material, it adds a lot of shop time, and it also adds a lot of wasted material. So yeah, just a combination of the angle and the materials, I had to like figure out a good balance between it. And I think that with the 7-degree angle on the base, it's a lot better. And I don't have any problems hitting my thumb on it anymore. And I tried both with the spacebar flipped and with it regular. Oh, and the cone feet with the acrylic base are also at 7 degrees too, so that covers that.
Perfect, nice. So the one that I have, is that at 5 degrees or is that at 3 degrees?
The one that you have is the same angle as the one that I have, which was 3. So it's a lot lower. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one that was a lot lower than I expected.
Wow, that's flat.
Okay. Yeah, so 7 is going to be a pretty monumental difference. Perfect.
Yeah, 7 should be about the same as an HHKB, I think. Is that the right?
I don't remember.
I don't actually know. It's a good question, though.
Well, I measured it against my HHKB, so it should be about the same because yeah.
You know, it's funny you guys you mentioned how flat it is because I work a lot in construction in terms of like roofing, and for roofing, 5 degrees and under is considered a flat roof.
Really?
Yeah, it's considered flat because you can't legally have a 0-degree roof because when rain comes it wouldn't fall off. But
it'll collapse.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was just a bit funny that it's that shallow because that's really shallow. I'm happy that you're definitely addressing it and making it a good amount steeper.
Yeah, that was like, I mean, the first prototypes way back in March, I hadn't figured out how to add the angle. I thought about like CNCing the bottom piece to be angled, but it's just not thick enough to do that. So that was flat, obviously. And then I proposed to, just put holes on the bottom polycarb and then have people put their cone feet. But then I got a lot of comments like, oh, this board shouldn't have cone feet. It's such a nice board. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll design a base. And then I come back here and then the prices are really high. I'm like, okay, maybe I should add the acrylic as an option. Because I mean, there's a market for both. I've had people ask me about like flat keyboards. Some people like typing on flat, especially for like DSA lovers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I think that having both as an option definitely was the right choice.
So now that you have both options, you have what a lot of people would call the very, very high-end, sculpted base option and the more affordable acrylic option. Just from what you think and your opinions about both designs, which do you think will just do better in terms of like the last day of the group buy? You're looking at your total sales numbers. What do you think will do better off of your personal preference, or what do you think about the price to what it is?
I'd have to say that the better seller is definitely going to be the acrylic, And I don't know if you guys saw the metaverse render, but when Plex did that render with the red cone feet, that kind of just blew my mind because like
Oh, it looked good.
it looks really classy, but it doesn't need to be super expensive like the brass bottom. But there are people who like they like their super heavy boards, they like their really high-end materials. So there's a market for that, but I think that at the end of the day, the acrylic bottom version is going to sell a lot more because it opens up the possibilities for people to be able to get the more expensive corian options like the elderberry or the brass plate or the aluminum plate. It opens it up a lot more. Therefore, I think it'll just help with sales overall. But there is definitely a market for like brass elderberry because I mean that does look really good, but the price is very high.
Yeah, fair enough. So, like, let's go back to the beginning. Why corian in the first place? What made you actually want to do corian over just, you know, some of the more normal material types that we generally see on keyboards?
So this actually still goes back to the bladesmithing class. I like to make things with my hands a lot, and I took a bladesmithing class, and we did all sorts of stuff. But being the person that I was, I wanted to like try crazy things, and my teacher actually had he had a bunch of corian samples, so, you know, just like the small samples you can get from countertop stores or whatever. And I had always wanted to make a Damascus steel blade, so I bought a billet of Damascus steel, and I used cameo white corian and brass pins, and I actually have it right here. So this is the knife that set off the Lumina dream, I guess. But yeah, so it's got the brass pins that go through it and the cameo white. And this was also like right around when I was getting into keyboards, and I just had it sitting there next to my poker. I'm like, huh, let's try it out. So yeah, that's basically the inspiration for the Lumina. And then I think once after I started looking more into the materials, I found out that there were a lot of really cool colors. And I think that like what I want to really do at the end of the day is I want to get to the point where I can commission a custom corian color from DuPont, which that might be a lot of money, so I'll have to see how that works. But if I can get a custom color, like a like a one-off color that wouldn't even be seen on counters or whatever they use it for, I think that could be really cool. So yeah, that's what I want to do eventually, and I have like a lot of ideas for the corian itself. But yeah, I think that the Lumina, I mean, I wanted to do a 60 because it's like a pretty common layout, or at least it was back when I had the idea. I know that 65 is getting pretty popular now. But yeah, so I think that just it was like a series of inspirations that kept getting better, I guess. I don't know. It just ended up where we are now.
I'm gonna say that's one amazing aspiration. Everyone in chat, you heard the man. Get your Luminas. Let's have a custom keyboard corian color. You know, and DuPont's gonna be like, why are all these people buying our lubes? Why are these people buying, trying to get some custom corian colors? Well, that's really honestly that's really amazing. Like I didn't really realize that was like an option thing you could do, but it's
I mean I had to do some research on it, but like there's this one thing that I saw. Sorry, there's one thing that I saw. I saw some pictures of transparent corian. Now, I don't know whether I'd have access to that, but transparent corian on a keyboard would be nuts because you're getting that high density, you're getting that feel, but it's transparent. So like there's options like Elan, which I think it's like transparent aluminum or something similar to that, but it's insanely expensive. But like if we could get transparent corian and have that on boards, that's a good competitor to polycarbonate. And I know that I've looked into the pricing for polycarbonate, and it's actually more expensive than corian, believe it or not.
Interesting. Is the transparent more like completely clear, or is it kind of like a frosted look?
I mean, when you polish it up, it's like clear.
Wow.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I might be able to pull up a picture for you guys, actually.
Yeah, that would be great. While you do that, let me just give a brief explanation on what corian actually is, because some people, I think, might have a little bit of a misunderstanding. Okay. So corian is, this is from Wikipedia, by the way, because, of course, I wouldn't know this off the top of my head, is a material created by DuPont. It's mainly used for countertop, benchtop surfaces. It is composed of acrylic polymer and alumina trihydrate.
Yeah, that's the inspiration for the name.
Yes. A material derived from, I'm probably going to get this name wrong, bauxite ore. So, yeah, like I was saying in another time, the corian is a lot of acrylic. It feels a lot of acrylic, and despite what I think a lot of people might believe, it's really not that heavy. I think when Corian was first kind of thought of as a potential material to use for keyboards, people were like, "Oh my god, it's going to make the heaviest boards." And in all actuality, like, Corian is not that heavy.
It's pretty light, yeah.
I think pretty light.
I think the misconception comes from, like, when a lot of people look at Corian, they think of granite because of granite countertops, and Corian was basically created to be like a great looking but inexpensive alternative to granite. And people just think granite, and granite's a rock. Rocks are heavy, so they're like, Corian must be heavy.
Yeah. That's definitely what I thought at first. I mean, you can get it pretty heavy, but the way that the Lumina is designed, I mean, it's pretty much just the frame. So you are cutting out a lot of the material, but I do have some extra sheets sitting in here. And if you're carrying, like, I don't know, this big or so pieces, and you're carrying them in like stacks of 2 or 3, it's actually pretty heavy, but obviously not as heavy as aluminum. So I think the weight of the actual Corian on the Lumina is around 1 pound total for both pieces, which is cool because if you want a heavy keyboard, get the brass base or the aluminum base. If you want something light, you can just get the acrylic, and it can be a decent on-the-go board. So, but you still get the, you know, it's a lot stronger than acrylic by itself is. So I think in a way it's a lot, yeah, it's, you know, it's a lot sturdier, and you can have a little bit more peace of mind about like scratches or cracks or warping or whatever.
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's really cool just to have like a new material on the market anyway. Like,
that too, yeah.
Just because like we're so used to just metal keyboards and like some plastic keyboards, and like to actually be working with completely different materials is pretty awesome, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
With that in mind, are there any other materials that you would like to work with in the future, or that you're considering working with, that you can maybe talk about?
Well, I mean, at some point, when I'm a millionaire or whatever, and I can afford to run group buys at cost, I want to do marble keyboards, I think.
Marble,
cool. and maybe even Elan if it's cheap enough at that point. But I mean, there's a lot of options out there. I thought about casting glass. Well, not casting. I guess it'd be blowing it or glassing. I don't know, or not glassing, casting. But I mean, there's so many different material options out there. I probably have some more that I've thought of that I can't even remember. But like when I first got into the hobby, it was like the high end was metal, it was aluminum, but there's a lot of really other nice materials out there. I think there was this one case that went into group buy. It was like a CNC wood case. It was really, really intricate. I don't know if you remember that.
Was the one with the little carvings on the side around it, and the back had that cool circular kind of weight. Yeah, okay, we covered that.
Yeah, the Imperial way.
The Imperial.
Yeah.
And I think just like limiting ourselves to just aluminum. I mean, this is already a really niche hobby. There's no point in keeping the material choice niche. There's all those different materials out there. You might as well just expand on it. So yeah, I think that like after the Lumina, I'm gonna do more Corian boards. I'm gonna try some new materials and see how they turn out. I think for me, it's all about like experimenting more than anything. I'd rather experiment with something new, maybe innovate on something rather than just do a copy of something, or just oh, here's another X, here's another Y. I'd rather do something just like refreshing, I guess.
Yeah, I like it. I appreciate the boundary breaking. Huang Vu says cast obsidian into keys. I wonder how expensive and hard that would be.
Yeah.
Or maybe some bedrock.
Maybe like asteroid.
Meteors, yeah.
So, yeah.
Since you're here, and I'm sure a lot of people are always, a lot of people are always curious about, how people live in keyboards. Real quick, what's your favorite switch and current favorite keyboard that's not the Lumina?
Oh, see, that's tough. Like I said before, I really like going through things. So there have been phases where I've had a bunch of cheap boards, and then I went to like all clicky or all linear or whatever. I think so. Right now, I am typing on an HHKB, white HHKB with hyperfuse and then KBD fan sliders and BKE heavies, and I want to get a Hasu for it soon. But I've never really liked stock Toper, but I really do enjoy BKE heavies. I think that they are like a good bridge between Holy Pandas and Topper. I mean, I've had Holy Pandas before. They're great, but I've always felt that they're just too expensive to reasonably consider keeping. So I've sold them. But I've enjoyed BKE heavies a lot. I wish I could get some Novatouch sliders and throw them in here. I think they'd be better than the KBD fans ones, but
they are.
With lube, the KBD fans ones are pretty decent. But yeah, the Novatouch. I mean, I've had a Novatouch before, and that was great. But yeah, I think right now my go-to board is just this HHKB because I'm waiting on some other stuff to show up. And I have some other concepts that I want to test out, but they're not really products yet, so I can't say that they're my favorite because I haven't tried them. But yeah, no, I would have to say that the HHKB is a pretty good go-to board right now, and I've finally gotten used to the split backspace and the blocked corners. So I think that it's really grown on me.
So as a quick follow-up, because this always makes Brian and I a bit happy, because a lot of people may or may not know, when Brian and I started the hobby, we were very similar. We went through boards all the time. We would get a board, we'd use it for 2 weeks to a month, then we would sell it basically at price. We'd lose on shipping for the board, but it was basically like you could try out a board for the price of shipping, right? And you get a new board every 2 weeks to a month. That's how Brian and I started with keyboards. That's how we got familiar with all sorts of switches, materials, layouts, etc., etc., etc. So with that in mind, since it sounds like you're doing a lot of the same thing, what's that keyboard, the one that got away? The one that you sold it, maybe 2 weeks later, maybe 2 months later, you're like still a little itching for that board and kind of wish you still had it.
That's a good one. I guess as far as looks and feel go, I had a TX65 with champagne, and I really did like it, and I regret selling it just because I feel like I didn't get to try enough different switches on it. It felt really good with vintage blacks. I hate box royals because they're really scratchy, but I had them on there, and it actually made them feel good. But I ended up selling it just because I needed the money, but I do miss that board. I think it looked really good. I had GMK Pristine on it.
Oof.
The weight was really nice. The only thing I had a problem with was that the PCB wasn't very good. I think the TX
boards,
they're like a hit or miss. You plug them in and like sometimes it'll like show up, sometimes it'll just be like, oh, I'm dying. But I
hope it actually says that it's dying.
I mean, the lights will like just it looks like it's a suffering robot.
Yeah, they'll kind of do something and then not.
Yeah, it'll do something. You type on it, nothing happens, and you just keep replugging it. But I think I really appreciated the attention to detail, the quality of the board. The TX bag. It's a hard shell case. It has foam. It comes with GMK escape caps. Like the whole experience, I think, was just really cool. And then when you have a good experience opening it, but then you actually get the board out and it feels really heavy and it looks beautiful. And then you put it together and it's just all really nice. I think that overall, that's probably one of the nicest boards that I have, and I definitely like to get one. Maybe not a 65, maybe a 60, just because I've gotten used to the HHKB layout so much. But yeah, I'd say that would be my board.
That's a good one. I don't think I could ever get rid of my TX60. I love it too much.
Yeah, it's a pretty great board. Maybe I'll get one in black or something. I don't know.
So
no, let's talk at exactly the same time, Huey. That's always way more fun.
I was gonna say Q&A.
No. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we can roll into a Q&A. That's pretty much where I was getting to as well. So if you have questions for us, we have answers. If you have any questions for Tesletron, now is the time. Make sure to use the @TopClack tag. That way we can see the questions.
I have a question. Ryan Norbauer asked earlier to ask you, where do you source your Corian? He's had trouble finding vendors that aren't countertop stores.
So for the Corian sourcing, for colors that I can't get on the one source that I use, and I'll name that in a second, I do source it from the countertop stores, and they are more expensive, which explains the elderberry price increase. But there's a website that actually sells overstock material. And they sell whole sheets, and they're all 0.5 inches, but I think the actual number is 0.45. But yeah, I've been using them as a source. I actually ordered from them for the original prototypes, and I mean, they're US based, so the shipping was pretty fast. I don't know if you're still listening, Ryan, but I highly recommend. They have pretty decent options in Overstock. They also have partial sheets if you don't want to buy an entire sheet, which can get rather pricey. So you can get like small bits that are enough to make maybe 2-3 boards, and that's what I did. I got a couple different color options in small sizes. I can link that to you if you need to. Let me pull it up. And that's actually, so yeah, I'm sourcing the material for the cheaper options from there. Yeah, and I mean they've got, it's like it's a hit or miss, but the colors that I've specifically chosen are the ones that are in stock, like high numbers of sheets. So there's no chance of there not being enough material, unless like for some reason this group buy explodes, which I don't think it'll get big enough to sell out all of the materials that they have on their site. But yeah, let me pull up that link. But yeah, so the elderberry is actually just from a counter store. I've called a couple different ones in town, and I think back when I first started out in trying to figure out the design, the original design was going to be a tray mount, and it was going to be 2 pieces of the dimensions epoxied together. But then I actually talked to some people that I've worked with Corian a lot, and they said that in order to keep that cost effective, well, it's not cost effective basically, because you had to get the lowest price, they'd have to epoxy 2 whole sheets together, and then they'd have to cut it, and to get it perfectly evenly epoxied together, you have to clamp like every 2 inches or so. And when you're doing a 30 by 144 sheet piece of Corian, you can't do that unless you get some custom clamps, which, I mean, no one's going to spend that kind of money. So yeah, that's kind of what, after I found that out, I kind of diverged into clamping the plate between the 2 pieces of Corian, because then you're still getting the, I guess, the feel of the material, because the plate is being suspended between the 2. But yeah, just epoxying them together was too expensive, so I ended up having to figure out a different way to do it. It was just too expensive, really. So.
All right.
But yeah, so I gave the link to Brian, so he has that.
Yeah, I posted that in the chat already.
Yeah, so that's actually where the pricing comes from. So we calculate out how much surface area we need per piece, and then divide it up, and calculate it out per board, and then factor in the CNC and cost and all that. But yeah, I think that I think it's a pretty easy material to work with too. So if you have the money to buy some material and test it out, go for it. It's really cool, and you can get all sorts of different finishes on it. You can polish it up to like mirror finish, or you could sandblast it. And the shipping's pretty fast too. So
cool. All right, moving on just a little bit. Toasty Party, he donated 1,500 bits earlier that I saw, but we forgot to call it out.
Thank you so
we
much.
appreciate that. 1,500 bits. That's a lot. We appreciate that, man. That is super great. But he also has a question. It says, ask Tesletron who I should gift a sub to.
wouldn't that just be top clack? I mean,
Well,
is that not the same?
Well,
it's so someone else can be a sub of top clack.
Yeah, so if you gift a sub to someone,
they are the sub, but you pay for their sub for 1 month.
Oh.
Yeah, the gifter is providing the subscription to Top Clack to someone else.
I did not know that. Well, I would say me, but I'm already subscribed. So, I don't know. It's a good question. I'd have to.
Oh, then he says don't answer that. Top secret. What does that mean?
I don't know. He's
man.
He's high off his beans.
Oh, he just random one. Thanks, Toasty Party, for gifting that tier 1 to Funch.
Nice.
Seven gift subs in a row. Lucky number 7. Toasty's like one of the top gift givers of subs in our little Top Clack community. Thank you so much, Toasty. Funch, welcome to sub life. Oh my god.
Welcome to the fam.
The perks.
Oh man, I think I just triggered Olivia because Olivia
Oh
just gifted 5 in a row.
Wait, what?
Thank you, Olivia, for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to anyone use this to a name I cannot pronounce, to KBGB, T Tyler Durdens, and Fundle Lol.
Oh my god. look at this stream. Like all the subs.
Yeah, they're just all in a row.
Oh man, that's great. You guys
top
are
that, Toasty.
fantastic. You guys are fantastic.
I love you guys.
Yeah, we love you. This is great. Not to derail too much though. Let's get back to a little Q&A temporarily at least. Right. So Gert Tractor is asking, how are the acoustic properties of Corian? Is it quite dead, quote unquote, or does it have some resonance to it?
So this is a good question, and I think I've sent out a couple prototypes to different people, and what I've got back, and from my personal experience, is that I feel like it's a more refined sound. It's a more deep, soft sound. I mean, you have the brass one, and you can. I mean, obviously the base material is going to affect how it sounds. The aluminum and the brass are going to be different, but just with the Corian, it's like it's somewhere between aluminum and acrylic. I mean, obviously that's basically what it is. It's somewhere between those two materials, but it's like it's deeper and gentler. But I think that if you don't lube your switches well, it will definitely pick up the sound of not lubed switches. I tried lubed Gatoron yellows on mine, and then I compared it to some not lubed switches, and you can definitely hear the difference just because like it's definitely more resonant. You know, it's a softer material than aluminum, so it definitely carries the vibrations more. And just in general, the construction of the Lumina is also, it's not as hollow with the final production design, but with the current design there is a cutout on the base, and with the original design it was an open bottom with a polycarbonate to protect the PCB. But I think that if you want to compare it to aluminum, you're getting a deeper sound, a softer sound, so it's not as aggressive, I would say, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's, you know, I've been asked this at least 10 times since the stream last night when I built the thing, and like I don't quite have a good answer for how the Lumina sounds or how the Novelkeys cream switches sound, because like both of them are new to me. Like I didn't put switches I was familiar with into Lumina, and I am not familiar with Corian either. So it's like, you know, I do plan to do a typing video. I will do that either tonight or tomorrow. I promise that'll go up, so you guys can have a kind of a sound test on what the creams sound like in the Lumina. I think it sounds really good. I think there's pretty minimal resonance, I would say, in this, because Nathan Kim, who sent this to me, had some foam in the bottom. I left that in there, and I think that is definitely how it doesn't sound dead or hollow at all to me. It sounds pretty clean, pretty precise, fairly deep. The creams, I think, are also a really good sounding product. I'm pretty sure once I put them on another board that I can kind of, you know, do a little bit more apples to apples comparison. But that's why I can't just be like, oh, this sounds amazing, because I don't know what each of them sound like on their own with something that we're all familiar with. I only know what is brand new.
If you do want to hear some sound samples, I did send the prototype to Nathan Kim. I'll put the link in here if you guys can see that. But he has 4 different switches. He has Holy Pandas, and he compares them to the Fiel. And then he has the vintage NOS Blacks, which, I mean, it's Nathan Kim, so it's gonna sound good. But you can get a good feel for what they sound like with the vintage blacks. And then I think he did Mod H's, and because of the whole box switches thing, he did MX Blues instead of the Jades. But yeah, so if you, I mean, it's like a 40-minute video, so I mean, there's a lot of listening to do if you want to listen to it. And I know that Brian's probably gonna be putting out a video.
Yeah, mine will not be as good as Nathan Kim's. So definitely, hold on, I'm trying to find this video. So he has a typing video. It looks like it's about 8 minutes long. Lumina prototype typing sounds compilation. I'm gonna throw that in the chat.
Oh, it's 8 minutes, not 40 minutes. I don't know where I got 40 from.
I mean, I know Nathan can type fast, and he can type for a prolonged amount of time. I have 40 minutes straight out of just typing sounds seems a bit intense even for Nathan.
Yeah, I think I just was imagining it because it was, I don't know, I was just enjoying it.
It was so
much.
Mesmerizing, you looped it 5 times.
I was just like, oh, it felt like 40 minutes.
Yeah, he just looped it 5 times.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I mean, I've listened to his Holy Panda Fail video, I think probably like 100 times. And all those, really like good. All those views, yeah, exactly.
It's really good. So I will do a typing sounds of my own for what I have, because I have the cream switches. But yeah, if you want a more precise typing sounds video, Nathan Kim's setup is just straight up better than mine. So he produces better typing sounds. So check out that link if you want to hear some more sounds going on there.
Oh, and I also did send some acrylic plates to test out, since that's going to be offered in the group buy.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to use one, but I didn't yet, because I wasn't sure which one was going to work, which one was the most up to date. Nathan was trying to kind of guide me through it, but there's 5 or 6 plates, and one of them
I can help you
some of them have
that.
tape, some of them don't. So I don't know. We'll have to figure that out another time.
Yeah, I'll catch you up with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because I would like to try that instead of the brass plate. Since,
yeah, because I know that a lot of people will want an alternative material, and also just having frosted acrylic as the plate and the acrylic base is going to add that RGB that everyone needs, obviously. But yeah, so definitely sound test with the acrylic plate would be pretty dope.
Cool.
Next
all right, so moving on a little bit.
Toasty's asking, what's the plate support for the Lumina?
Yes.
So the plate support is HHKB layout, standard layout. Obviously, a HHKB layout with the extra control keys if you want to do standard with the Sangan. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah,
or TSA Fox. Yeah. And then I also added support for where you can have the 4 1U switches on the bottom right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's supported by that. I thought about doing fixed plates for this group buy, but then I realized that it would just... there's already a lot of options, so I thought it would just make it too complicated. So it is a universal plate. I know some people will probably be disappointed about that, but the plate files are going to be open source. I haven't posted them yet, but I'm planning on posting basically a template so that you can get your plate in whatever layout you want. I know that a lot of people who use ortho, or I think somebody actually requested a plate for the katana, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a board you don't see very often.
After I got the requests for that, so people asked about ALP support, ortho, all these different things, and I was like, I'm not selling the plate here. I'm selling the plate, but I'm not selling the plate. I'm selling the material. So there's no point in limiting. There's no point in limiting people's options when they can try out which combination with the new material. So yeah, the plates will be open source, and the files that the layouts that are supported support the HHKB top and some pretty standard 60% layouts too. So
yeah, cool. Nothing wrong with that. All right, Lump of Unworth says, not a question really. I just wanted to thank Tesletron for the group buy and the timing of it. I have 2 paychecks before the end of the buy, so I can actually get one. Also, you are very attractive. We've had at least in the chat comment on how good looking you are.
Oh, thanks.
And I've been really trying not to say something about it, but no. There you go.
Hopefully that doesn't all go to my head.
It's all going to everyone else's head and their names later. Anyways.
Well, thank you. So.
Yeah. Funch is asking, what does Huey think about the Lumina? Does he have one?
I do not have one, but I have thoughts. I think it's a very awesome and constructive use of materials that we wouldn't normally see in a hobby about keyboards, because normally we'd see various types of plastics or various types of metals. I know in a way it's kind of a plastic-ish.
Corian's kind of a plastic.
It's plastic.
It basically is, but it's like a kind of a different kind of plastic where no one thinks of using Corian like a normal plastic. People think of using Corian as a countertop replacement usually, or something along those lines. And I think, honestly, this is a great use of a different material. The design is awesome. I'm not a fan of the feet design unless you can really well color match the screw-on feet to your keycap set. Otherwise, give me that big hunker of a base. I don't have one. I might get one. I'm on the fence because there's a lot of things that my wallet is trying to juggle between. That's just the nature of the hobby, unfortunately.
That's the keyboard community.
Yeah.
But overall, I think any exploration into new materials, new techniques, the next frontier is what moves keyboard forward. If it turns out to be an awesome product, awesome. We learned something great. If it turns out to be a bad product, well, maybe we learned that either the technique was wrong or the material's bad. But it's new and we can learn from it. So, awesome.
Yes, indeed. All right, Huangvu95 is asking, so I just got some Aristotle. Which housing should I use? Did you guys ever try it with the new Otemu Sky/Ice housings before? Also ask Tesletron how many keyboards, keyset, and artisan that he went through.
First part,
okay.
Aristotle. You should use Zeo housings or normal Gatoron housings, in my opinion. Zeo housings, if you don't like the best for Aristotle housings, but of course Zeo housings are expensive. You can of course downgrade and go much cheaper. Not as good as Zeo housings, in my opinion, for Aristotles, but Gatoron housings will get the job done very, very well. That's what I'm going to say about also known as Zelistotles and Gatistotles. I have not tried Otemu Sky or Ice housings, but I think they can be an interesting option for Aristotles.
Yeah, I haven't tried those either, so no comment, unfortunately. I still kind of think Click Jacket is a dead technology now that the click bar is a little bit more prominent. I just don't think Click Jacket switches sound or feel as good, generally speaking. So I haven't tried anything with an Aristotle stem in like at least a year or more. But that's just how it goes. Talon BR is asking, did you guys cover the Boardwalk / Ergo 60 in the past? I was surprised by not seeing it this week. We talked about that last week. That's Alex at Pink's new PCB. That is like I think it's like an ortholinear 60% PCB or something. I'm almost positive we talked about it last time. Called the Boardwalk.
Check out the VOD.
Yeah,
check out more Top That content.
Yeah, I am almost positive we did that. NGB is asking, will Tesletron continue to do wrist rests now that he's running keyboard group buys?
Well, I think that once the Lumina actually goes into production, I think I might take a break, just because I'll have my hands full with that, and I'm also working on a lot of other pretty cool prototypes for various things. But yeah, I think I might take a break from that. Or another thing I've been thinking about is potentially doing Corian wrist rests. I mean, there's a lot of cutout material that happens with the current design that I have. There's things like I want to be as efficient as possible, so I think that I do want to touch up on seeing what other materials I can do the wrist rests out of, if I can, or just taking that wasted material and using it for something else. But yeah, for the wrist rests, I will be taking it slow while the stuff is in production, just because there's a lot of stuff going on at the same time, and I don't want to keep people waiting too long. So
fair enough. Good question. Good answer. Once Saved Gaming is asking a question of Tesletron. Do you think the larger boards will be significantly more expensive? So presumably with Corian.
So this is where I guess the research that I put into the material, I think this is where it will come in handy. Obviously, the bigger boards are going to be expensive if I put ginormous pieces of brass on the bottom. I have been looking into getting custom thickness Corians that I can do, so I can actually get the angle and not have to use something else to supplement that. So I think that the only problem I can see with larger boards is where there's splits. So like a TKL similar to the Nerd TKL layout, where all the grids are really thin. I think that would potentially pose a problem for thickness, but I have some solutions for that. But the main thing is if I can get a custom thickness Corian, which can be done for Cameo White. I'm exploring to see if I can do it for other materials, but for now the Cameo White can be done, and it's actually around the same price as Elderberry, so it is doable. But as far as pricing, if we're doing, you can see the price difference between the acrylic-based version and the brass-based version. If we eliminate the base detail from the design and just have solid Corian top and bottom, I think it could really bring the prices down a lot, like at least 100, a lot. So
cool.
Yeah, I have some stuff in the works for larger layouts, definitely.
Gio's asking if he can cuddle with you.
What state are you in?
Canada.
Canada? Oh, well, when I come to visit, then maybe.
He's on the East Coast, though.
Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah, well, I'll message you later.
TechFresh is asking, will Tesletron enter the song contest?
No.
No?
No.
Oof.
I'm pretty self-conscious about singing, so that will not be happening today or ever.
Damn.
What is that, anyway?
The song contest? It's for our 2-year anniversary. We have a raffle that's going on, and we also have 3 contests that can be entered. Anyone can enter one of the 3. This is a good time to pitch this, I guess.
We should do it when we wrap up.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do it when we wrap up. That's fine. Let's get to a few more questions first. Then we'll wrap up here pretty soon. Let's try to lightning round this since we have a few more to go through.
Oh, I think Toasty wanted to see one of the boards at one point. Wait,
right.
why am I showing this to you? You've seen this before, Toasty.
Toasty's asking, will it support ALPS or ALPS 64 PCB?
So the PCB and the plate support ALPS. I haven't made it completely compatible with ALPS 64 yet. I'm still working out some details on the plate for that. I know it's a strange layout, and I know there's some weird stab holes for it. I was working on that. If anything, I know LaserBoost does really good work, and once the plate files are out, you could probably just get a plate made with them, with the I'm blanking for the word. The skeleton? No.
Wait, what's
so the open source files.
Okay.
You can make your own layouts. So I can't remember what the word is, whatever. But yeah, you can make your own ALPS 64 plate and get it custom made. I know that LaserBoost's prices are pretty good, and they have some pretty cool materials and thicknesses. So in the event that I'm not able to provide ALPS 64 compatibility, it can be done for the Lumina. So I guess there's that. But I'm just running into the issue where the plate has so many different options that it's starting to look like Swiss cheese. And I know that I prefer fixed layouts, but I think in the interest of price and features, I think it's just better to stick with universal. And adding the ALPS 64 the layout, I mean, I'm not too familiar with it. I've looked at the layout, but I don't want to add too much to the plate, I guess. But the PCB does support ALPS. Actually, that's one thing I haven't mentioned. The Waldo PCB, it's got all the layouts that I've mentioned. It's got ALPS support, Type-C, RGB underglow, in-switch LEDs, QMK, like all the typical good stuff. And I have it priced at $40 for the group buy. And then what I want to do is if we get enough sold, I want to order extras and then sell them on the site after the fact.
Yeah, so, sounds like a pretty nice.
Because I mean, it's a standard 60 PCB that you can use with anything. And when I had decided on getting it made, there weren't really many Type-C PCBs on the market, so I think that's where it filled it for me. I know that it can support HHKB ALPS. I know that's a little harder to find. And I'm sure that in future revisions, I will definitely try to get ALPS 64 type compatibility.
All right, here we go. We're gonna pick up the speed a little bit.
Yeah,
Rage and Asian wants to. It's all good. Rage and Asian wants you to show off your HHKB again. And while you're doing that, Mog Genius says, I really dislike switches that come with any amount of lube inside because the lube job is never good. Also, I'm a strong advocate for breaking in switches before lubing for best results. Finally, the OEM lube is usually not as good as the lube I want to use. I just don't see any positives to pre-lube switches for these reasons. Thoughts? It's a really good discussion point. Really quickly, I would say the only reason you'd really want lube in your switches are for a lot of people that buy switches that just want them to be smooth and don't want to mod them themselves. Check out Gateron's first lineup of Milky switches. Did not have lube on them. They were not very smooth at all. Then they released the black bottom clear top version, where they did start lubing the legs on the stems, and they were substantially smoother. So, some people don't want to take apart and lube their switches. I respect that. I totally agree with you, though. I prefer to break in switches myself. I want to lube switches oftentimes, so I totally get where you're coming from.
My thoughts is I understand where you're coming from, and I understand all of that, but the big part that always people kind of forget about is like the business aspect. You have to meet the MOQ for this amount of switches to be made. You can't be like, hey, Kailh, Gatoron, Cherry, etc. Can I have just 110 unlubed switches? And I'm like, wait, what? What? Like, someone has to like actually buy a sustainable amount. Whether it's Cherry with their MOQ of 48,000 switches because that's how much fits on a pallet, and they like to ship by the pallet, or whatever Gatoron or Kailh's much lower MOQs and much lower prices are. Like, they would have to actually change a part in the production line to make sure no lube gets on the stem. Like, that's actually a change they have to do, which requires an MOQ that requires work and therefore money. Price of the switch ultimately wouldn't change, but you can't just have a small batch. You have to have actually a big batch. And can you get enough people together to want a big batch of unlubed switches? Who knows? Who knows?
Yep. Gert Tractor is asking, is corian a cold or warm material?
It's a room temperature material.
Yeah, I think it's pretty room temperature.
Yeah. I would say
Sorry, go ahead.
It probably errs more on the side of cold as opposed to like anything else, but it's not like granite. Like I'm feeling this one right now, and it's definitely cooler than room temperature for me, but not by a lot.
So basically, if you put it outside and you bring it inside, it's gonna be cold. If you leave it at room temperature, it's slightly cooler than room temperature. I'm feeling mine over here, and it's definitely cooler than the plastic on the HHKB, but I think it's still strongly determined by the surrounding temperature, just because it's not metal, so it's not super high density, which means it's not as hard to heat up. So yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare it to marble, it's not going to be as cold as marble. I'd love that. Actually, when I got the samples at first, I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't super cold, but mainly just like if you're gaming or typing or something, that I guess prevents sweat or something. I don't know, but I think it definitely is cooler than your typical plastic. So.
All right. That one Oscar is asking, what about a corian full-size board?
Oh, that'll happen too. I want to make it around to like every layout, and I know that the layouts that come after the 60 are probably not going to sell as well, just because they're not as popular as the 60 layout. But I think that at that point it won't matter as much. I think I wanted the Lumina to like be a bang, just like boom, new material, and then everything after that is just like, oh, that person wanted it in this layout, this person wanted it in that layout, and then they can do that. So yeah, no, I definitely want to make it around to all sorts of different layouts. The next board's already actually in the design phase, so
nice. All right, Olivia is asking, how many rose gold orders were there for the Lumina?
I'd have to check my spreadsheets, but
is that an option?
Yes, it is actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen the rose gold render.
It's really nice.
I don't
really
think I have. But the corian is rose gold, or
no.
The bottom,
Lumina is rose gold.
Okay.
But the thing is that what you can do with the build your own kit, I don't know if you've seen the website or not.
Yeah.
But you can mix and match different corian colors. So what Plex did was he made a cameo white top, the deep black quartz bottom, and then he put rose gold plate and base, and then he put GMK Livia on it. And honestly, I'm probably going to get that for myself. So it looks pretty great.
That sounds pretty stunning.
Let me see if I can pull up the render for you guys.
Yeah, feel free to link whatever in chat, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
He actually put it at #1 on the our little folder of renders. Let me find it. Okay, here we go. Here's the picture. And it definitely shows off the base, but it also takes advantage of mixing and matching materials.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. See, that's a great mix and match, Reno.
That is really cool. Yeah. Holy crap.
I mean, there's a lot of. You saw the metaverse one too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just I think I didn't even think about it before as much until we started popping out these renders. But color mixing the materials, it's not as taboo compared to like aluminum boards. And I mean, even KBD fans with their tofu, they've mixed the two different colors on their tofu HHKB, and it actually looks really nice. So I think this kind of follows suit. Like you can mix and match whatever colors you want, and I guess tweak it for the key set that you're going for or the look that you're going for. I mean, the Metaverse one looks really gamery, but at the same time, it just looks so good that you don't even care. But then you get Olivia, where it's like a really classy looking, muted type, you know, just I don't want to say refined. I want to say more like relaxed, but cute. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, as far as numbers, I can't give you it off the top of my head. And also, I mean, a lot of people haven't put their orders in. I've been getting messages from people saying they're saving up and they're waiting for paychecks. But I mean, it's pretty standard for a group buy for something like this. Usually, I'm saying usually like 5 times a sentence. People will put their orders in closer to the end or whenever they get their paycheck. So yeah. I'm sure that the rose gold option is definitely going to get sales.
Cool. So. All right. Toasty is asking about the expiration date on the song contest. So now's probably as good a time as ever to pimp that. So we're caught up on questions. So let's talk a little bit about our 2-year anniversary.
I got you for the song contest, my dude. The song contest ends on the 20th. So make sure you have your songs written, recorded, and sent into the form by the 20th. All the contests will basically end on the 20th because depending on the volume that we have coming in, Brian and I actually need time to like judge them. Like we don't want to like rush and try to judge all of them like in the hour of prep before the show or like a day before the show. We want to make sure.
Yeah, that just wouldn't happen. Like we have to go through all the entries for everything and make sure everything is following the rules. Make sure everything's Gucci, and then pick winners. RNG stuff if we need to.
We can say the prizes of the contests, right? I think we can say those.
We've already said them.
We've said them. We'll say it again. If you're interested in entering the song contest, Novelkeys is sponsoring the song contest by giving the grand prize winner a set of GMK Olivia when it ships, as well as the extras kit. So join that when you can. Song contest, submit it in an MP3. It has to be between a minute and 3.5 or 4 minutes. I put some number there. Just don't make it too short, and don't give me a giant orchestra unless you're going to do a keyboard version of Journey or something.
So all of the contests close on the 20th of this month at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So you have just under 4 days left to actually enter any of this stuff. So we're coming up on the deadline here, guys. And let me tell you, you should enter a contest. Read the rules, enter a contest. You can only enter one of the contests, aside from the raffle. Everyone can enter the raffle and one contest. So make sure you do that, because your chances of winning are probably a lot higher than you think they are. There's a lot of cool things being given away. I teased it last night. There's a Zephyr being given away. I think we have a couple GMK sets. We have lots of other things going on. A lot of really cool things from all of our sponsors and more. So enter stuff, guys. Put a little bit of effort into it. Come up with something. Enter a contest. Read the rules. Also enter the raffle, of course.
The raffle. In case the rules may be confusing, you guys might not understand. So the raffle is you enter the raffle. You put your name in your Discord. Join our Discord if you're not in already. You get one raffle ticket. That's part 1. That's the minimum you need to do. Okay. Part 2 is optional. Part 2 is kind of like almost like quote unquote double or nothing thing, where you have your 1 ticket minimum that you will get. For part 2 is for every question you get right, you get an additional raffle ticket, which ups your chance of winning. But if you get any of those questions wrong that you enter, you get nothing from that section. So you can be like, oh, I only know one of them for sure. I'm only going to answer one of them, leave the other 2 blank, so I have a guarantee of 2 tickets. Or you can, I'm going to take a guess on one of the questions and hope you get it right, and you get an extra ticket from that. Or you get it wrong, and you get only 1 ticket and none from that second section. So check it out.
Yep. So the very minimum is 1 raffle ticket. Just by entering that form, you get a raffle ticket. You don't have to answer any of the questions. And nobody's going to take that 1 raffle ticket away from you, even if you get questions wrong. But let's say you answer 3 of the 3 questions and one of them is wrong, you get 1 raffle ticket total. So we did intentionally make the questions hard because, why not? If you're going to have a much higher chance of winning things and a chance to win multiple things, you should have to be trying harder. That's just kind of the way we see it. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that. There's already been quite a few people to enter the raffle, but the song contests and the other contests, not a whole lot of people entering them yet. So, you know, a lot of them might come in towards the end, but make sure you're entering stuff, guys, because chances are pretty darn good. And there's a lot of cool stuff. So make sure you check that out. Anyways,
know what we totally forgot to launch last episode that we should launch right now? And like keep spamming it as we do every stream until the thing. The community spotlight.
Oh, I forgot we were doing that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send the link right now to everyone. I'm gonna boost it in chat and other things. So one thing we'd like to do, you know, for everyone, we ask everyone to please fill this form out. It's a community spotlight. You know, tell us in this form what's your favorite thing ran this year. Keyboard, keycap. We have different categories, you know, or the worst things in the gimmicky set. Just fill out just your text responses for this form. Please, please, please. We want to hear what the community likes, what the community doesn't like. We want to, you know.
This has nothing to do with like any of the giveaways or anything. Like, you're not going to win anything by filling this out. This is strictly for fun to see, you know, what the Top Clack community likes and dislikes. Like, what's going on? Like, what do you guys think is good? What do you guys think is bad? That kind of stuff. So just take a couple moments and fill that out. Just to, you know, just to have fun. We'll go through and see what people are into, what people, you know, love and hate. Yes, we know you like Tesletron, of course. Anyways, also someone asked earlier, good question. As far as international shipping for the giveaway stuff, yes, if we can ship it to where you are, it's cool. We got the shipping covered. No worries about that, guys.
So sorry if you're from North Korea. I do not think USPS allows international to North Korea. I think that's the only one I can't ship to. Yeah.
Unless you want to go there as a journalist and then stay there forever.
Oof. Oof. So.
Oh, you messed up the form a little bit.
I did?
The worst keycap set released ran this year. It's a multiple choice with one option.
Oh, nice. I got it. I'm going to fix it right now for everyone. Short answer that. Okay, it's fixed, guys. Refresh that page.
Yep. And once again, I'm just going to put the link to the contest and the raffle. Make sure you guys check this out. Seriously. Good stuff.
It's great stuff.
That ends soon, and then we will be going over and announcing winners and stuff on the next episode on the 23rd, a week from now. So, bam. Make sure you guys get in there like swimwear.
Well, let's
anyways
wrap this up like like a good wrap. You know,
don't say it.
Got some chicken Caesar inside.
Oh no!
Oh, I thought you were. Never mind.
Hey! You know what? I was talking about food this time.
Good, I like to talk about food. Anyways, Tesletron, thank you so much for coming on with us and talking to us about.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
it was fun.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully all of you guys enjoyed it. If you want to catch the VOD, like you missed some of it maybe, it'll be up on Twitch and on YouTube and on Podbean, just like always. So make sure to check that out. And until next time, we will see you next week when we reveal winners of all the epic stuff.
Yes. Next episode. And as we leave, real quick, thanks Blue Note for the reminder. Tesletron, waffles or pancakes?
Oh, whoops.
That's a tough choice, man. See, I don't have favorites. I have I love all y'all, you know.
Oh.
I guess it depends on the mood. But okay, let's see what I'm feeling right now. I'm definitely feeling some crispy waffles with Canadian maple syrup and a big old stick of butter. Yeah.
Oof.
Definitely waffles right now.
Oof. Okay, fair enough. It's been a while.
Oh wow! Looks like I have some haters now.
Don't worry. Don't worry. All you have to say is "I love all y'all" again, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh."
Yes, the entire stick of butter.
Yes, there's no other way to do it.
Well, we'll be having an episode of Top Clack on the 23rd. Will be our official 2-year anniversary. 2 years already. Thank you everyone so much for your support and letting the show go on as long as it has. Tomorrow, Brian and I probably will be doing a build stream, so catch us there at some unspecified time after I finish work and before Brian is too inebriated. I might do another stream on Saturday as well because I have a lot of things to do for keyboards. So that'll be really, really cool. We all got content working on. Check out the Lumina. Everyone, thank you so much. We'll see you next time.